Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. JC here with another video on Action Taimanin. Today we're gonna do a tier list, but before we start, don't forget to leave a like, share, and subscribe if you enjoy the content. So this is gonna be a bit lengthy, so I'm gonna try to keep it short. But first of all, let's start by setting the metrics, the way we're gonna evaluate this tier list. So as usual, we have three tier lists: one for farming, one for solo content, one for team content, because characters perform different depending on the role and what you want them to do. For farming, we are evaluating ease of farming, not speed. It's not about who can clear the stage the fastest, but which are the most comfortable characters to farm with. So the least you have to think, the better they're gonna perform on this tier list. It's not just about being fast. If you have to do a million combos and do a very specific set of actions, yeah, they can farm quickly, but you don't want to like think a ton when farming. You in fact you want to multitask while farming, if anything. So yeah, so I'm gonna be evaluating that. Another thing to take into consideration in this particular list, we don't care that much about the weapon. Like, there are a handful of weapons that we might talk about that help out on farming, but there are not that many. In fact, I think it's only one. But just think like we're evaluating the character itself and their skills. Okay? Another thing, characters, the higher the characters, the characters are gonna grade higher on the list if they have skills with good AoEs, teleporters, and if their skills proc on perfect dodge, that's going to reduce the grading of that skill. There are some great skills for farming that work on perfect dodge, and we don't want to wait for the enemy to attack, we just want to mash buttons. So yeah, that's kind of it for the farming tier list. For the solo content tier list, this one is going to reward characters who have like well-rounded kits. They need healing, they need buffs, they need debuffs, but overall they need to be able to clear content with ease. On this one, we are going to highlight some good weapons for the characters. We're not gonna evaluate the whole weapon, but it's going to affect their score, sure. We are grading this on an average. We're grading all the colors, and if they do well with all the colors around all their weapons, they're gonna go high. If they do great with one specific build, that's going to average with the other builds, and maybe they're gonna go to suboptimal. Just keep that in mind. Like, there are some really busted characters that have only one build, and with everything else they are trash, so keep that in mind. And well, for team content, we are going to reward those characters who have healing, buffs, debuffs, or any form of value for the team. An important aspect to take into consideration is that some characters are supporters, some characters are attackers, some characters can perform both roles. For attackers, like let's say Micah, we are going to reward the attackers who also provide some sort of utility for the team. If they have no utility for the team, they're gonna go very low on the list. And trust me, there are some characters who are just selfish beat sticks that don't do anything. So yeah, there's gonna be some that go to suboptimal. So well, anyways, let's get started. The first one is going to be Asagi. Asagi is an excellent character. She has speed control, she has great debuffs. So in terms of farming, she has Shunshinka and Senjinka, as well as Soeka. Soeka, like, it's not a huge AoE on the whole screen, but those basics that the mirror image is doing are wide. They hit a bunch of enemies if they get over there, and you can then go attack another set of enemies to clear the stage quickly. So Sunshinka with the big AoE, Senjinka with the ability to teleport and attack multiple enemies, and Munika. Teleporters are very, very important because they allow you to just go to the other side of the stage when you're on a really big map. And we also have Rakusenka, not my favorite. It has a medium-sized AoE and you have to do the whole jumping animation, but it can help with farming. So in terms of farming, Asagi is just great. Not outstanding, not average, just great. Because she does have big enough AoE attacks, but it's kind of not busted enough. Besides, Asagi struggles a bit with damage. She can clear stuff, but she's no Maika, she's no Ragnarok on this game. So yeah, outstanding. Great, I mean. Outstanding for solo content. It is fairly simple. Asagi has HP recovery on blue. That's something. I mean, she can rely on other sources of HP recovery. Every character can. But this is very impactful. The fact that she has her own form of HP recovery. She also has two skills that reduce both defense and speed. Defense on blue and speed on red. That's really, really good for controlling the enemy. Not to mention the passive that gives you damage increase and a speed reduction after an extreme dodge every 10 seconds for 4 seconds. That's good. For notable weapons, we have of course the HP recovery weapon, the butterfly weapon. In Asagi's case, the summer weapon is good. We have the Momochi is like a staple. I'm only going to mention the Momochi weapon when we have particularly good users of the Momochi weapon, because the multi-hit basics or the multi-hit skills are gonna abuse these weapons. So overall, always consider this to be good. We have two package weapons which are usable. They are not like busted, but they are not bad. And we have the renewal weapon, which is pretty good. Yeah, like those are the weapons that you want to use. So yeah, overall she's just outstanding. And the same can be said about the team content. She's not going to be like the most busted supporter for team content out there, especially because speed reduction is like penalized. Lately it has been penalized. Like Edwin and Astaroth are immune to speed reduction. The LWS squad is immune to speed reduction. So yeah, that's oh yeah, and of course Ingrid, Worm Knight Ingrid is immune to debuff until you beat Lina. So yeah, that's bad. But even so, Asagi can perform the tank role on blue. She provides hefty defense downs. She provides the speed reduction. She can give you the Momochi weapon effect, of course. Like, she's really, really decent. For the most part, I do recommend getting Asagi. She's a great character. Now, let's see. The next one is going to be Sakura. Oh. A bit of water. I'm going to talk a lot. So, Sakura easily goes to outstanding over here. Why? Basically, she has 3 skills that she's going to be using for farming. Nether Dive, Shadow Cleave, and Shadow Claw. There's also Shadow Shift, of course, the teleporter, that is very useful. Shadow Cleave works as a teleporter, that's nice. All of these have decent damage. Even if they mismatch, you can put them together and just transition between the 3 skills and you clear waves of enemies. And that's really, really good. Even though it's not like the greatest thing, it's outstanding that she can just transition between the 3 skills, no matter the build that you select, and clear waves for dailies and event. It is pretty good. And not to mention the fact that she is going to constantly cast the summons that are going to help you out with clearing waves of enemies. So yeah, that's pretty good. Talking about the weapons, what can you use with Sakura? We have Lionheart, but Lionheart is a very niche weapon, just so that you know. Not bad, but extremely niche. The HP recovery weapon, in case you want HP recovery on red or green. The butterfly weapon, the Beyblade weapon, Kibo. The particle charge, I wouldn't use this one. Twinkle Riser, very, very good, very, very useful. The anti-human weapon, the Unabara, which inflicts a defense down and an attack down, because that's gonna make you tanky, that's really, really good. And of course the Momochi weapon. So, talking about solo content, Sakura doesn't like super buff herself, that's a disadvantage. She does have some buffs, but nothing like super impressive. Though, I have to mention, recently they added buffs for red, which are great. So, that's good. Because this dealt like below busted damage. Like, it was just average, kind of average. But with the attack up, this improved a lot. So, yeah, she does have attack up. Unfortunately, it's the same percentage, so that's not great. It would be better if one of these was 20% or 15%, but it is what it is. It also has an attack from the bird that's really, really good. But she doesn't have critical damage up. She doesn't have those kind of electrocute or something like that that provides another form of damage increase. Like, she does have where is it? Oh no, she doesn't. She doesn't have defense down on her kit naturally. You can, I mean, on her skills, she does have the defense down on the kit with the shark, sure, but you have to summon that. So yeah, like she does have buffs now, but it's mostly red and using the bird. If you go green and blue, you're not gonna have buffs. That's the thing. Normally you have debuffs. The speed reduction debuff on Shadow Fling is amazing. The damage reduction can be pretty impactful when the enemy deals a ton of damage. That's gonna be like the higher levels of tower. This overall, it's, as I mentioned, good for farming, good on red, but you don't kind of want to use it. Maybe on green to guarantee your crits. This skill is busted. All of these skills are busted. The main damaging color skills are busted for Sakura. And well, I haven't mentioned Shadow Tangle and Shadow Spin, which are very, very good. Shadow Tangle is going to keep the enemy in snare. And this can do continuous damage, reduce the cooldown, or increase the ensnare damage against the damage against snare enemies by 20%. So it is amazing. Even though you don't completely stop the enemy, they can continue attacking. Not allowing them to move is very impactful. And Shadow Spin is very important because on blue it restores HP. Unfortunately, she has HP recovery over here. Like, is she meta now? Like, overall, I think she just like at the top of outstanding. I wouldn't put her on meta. She's really, really good. But there's a clear difference when you delete the enemies. Because there are some characters that are just absurd, the kind of damage they have. The thing is, Sakura has to build up that damage by summoning the beast and applying those buffs. She cannot just obliterate everything by just starting with Shadow Claw. So yeah, she goes over here on outstanding for farming and for solo content. Talking about team content, on the other hand, I would say she became meta. She's not gonna be on your top teams, but she's going to help you out a lot on Total War, definitely. Like, a lot. And on VR, she's gonna be great. So, yeah. Because of the amount of things she can do. She can disarm the enemy. She can apply defense down, she can become tanky, she can become a buffer for the team, she can reduce the speed of the enemy slightly or a lot. I mean, she does so many things. The more variety a character has, the higher they're gonna go on the list. So she goes over here. Yuki. Unfortunately, Yuki is not that great. The buff from the leader skill is really good. Like the changes that they did to this character's kit are okay, but she needed more changes than that. So Rayun and Rayudan are still great for farming. Rayudan not as good as Rayun, but okay. Spark and Rakurai, we can use those for farming, particularly Rakurai, but even so, it doesn't deal busted damage, and you have to do a perfect touch. So I'm gonna put her on suboptimal, talking about farming, because 2 skills, only green basically for the triple size and the good AoE attack that you have to rush into the enemy, by the way. Hiraitin also helps out with farming because it gives you the mobility to do your skills, but well, to reposition and use the Rayun, but no. Now, Raimei, pretty bad because it is a pseudo launcher. That really reduces the effectiveness of this skill. Shinden, well, they just released Clone Yuki, and Clone Yuki has this same skill, but better because of how the trajectory of the bullets work. They should definitely consider adjusting this skill. A ton of skills for Yuki, honestly. The basic enhancers are pretty bad for the most part. Like, it's basically Raimei, but on the basics. Raiga, it's a counter, awful idea for a ranged attacker or mid-range attacker in Yuki's case. And the launcher is always dead. It has never been useful. And we have, the perfect dodges. So you can see where this is going. Yuki barely has decent debuffs in the form of Hiraiiten's red speed reduction. That's really, really good. Also, the speed reduction on Raiga, the counter, is good, but again, counter. And we have Electrocute on red over here, which is nice. And we have, that's it. That's all the debuffs that we have. And talking about buff, we don't have anything impactful. Do we have buffs at all? No, we don't. We don't have buffs. So I'm gonna put her on average. Good news. She has a really useful passive. These busted basics carry her to average on solo content. She has HP recovery on her kit, so she's not useless. I can tell you that. Her weapons are not that bad. She does have the HP recovery weapon, the Greek Fire, which is not as good as everyone says it is. It is just okay, but it is not busted because it depends on the enemy having or not having super armor, and sometimes you cannot control that. We also have the butterfly cannon, super busted, always good. The butterfly weapons, not Tempest Hero Cannon. Twin Astray Pet, this is also good, and the Momochi weapon. The other ones are not that great, honestly. Let's see. So yeah, talking about team content, she also is suboptimal. She only has the speed reduction on red and the electrocute. But you need to counter, number one, that's bad. No, it's only one color. She only has utility for all your teams on one color, and it is not that great because you're gonna forgo the damaging skills to just go with these three together. So I would say it's suboptimal. She doesn't apply any kind of debuff on her super basics or anything like that, so she's not exactly a team player. She's best at doing solo runs with Ryun. Basically, Ryun is going to like carry this character because of the multi-hit and allowing her to instantly proc the new basic, which is really busted. But again, like, she's a character who does one thing, and that's not good enough. That's going to reduce her score because I'm averaging all the other builds, blue and red, that are super dead. Rinko. Rinko is definitely, let's see, an outstanding farmer. I cannot deny that. It's fairly simple for the most part. Like, let me just check. She has Wind Slicer. Wind Slicer is a really useful skill because it has a big AoE attack. It has a big AoE. And then we also have a Spatial Rift. Though it is a perfect dodge skill, this one actually works for farming because it pulls the enemy so that you gather them and you just obliterate them in one spot. Meteor Impact, super good for dealing with waves of enemies. Kochorambu, medium size, kind of usable, not super busted, but kind of usable. The Shift and Bio Slash. Technically, these are single target skills, but thanks to the combination of Void Dart and Sword Dart, you're going to proc the active, the passive, and that's going to allow you to do a small AoE attack, which helps out with clearing waves. So it's good. She has a ton of things that you can put together in order to clear waves of enemies. Mainly these two skills and the combo. The combo of sword, it's the passive. Sword Dart and sword skill and void skill. So yeah, that's really good. Talking about solo content. So she barely has HP recovery. She only has HP recovery on green. That's bad. Her weapons. She has the busted butterfly weapon. She has Shosu. She has obviously Momochi one. Starlight Chaser and Edge Trigger. Edge Trigger not like super busted, usable but not busted. And this one, by the way, small parenthesis, this is very good for farming, but I don't think she becomes meta just by holding this on a farming build. So yeah. So what does she offer? She offers a hefty defense down on green, but the green damaging skill doesn't have a damage multiplier, and similar to Yuki, the trajectory of the bullets is awful. Like, that's something they have to fix. Red has damage. Red has the ability to stop the enemy, and she has some busted buffs on blue, on green, on which was it? On green over here. Like, unfortunately, I'm gonna put her on average. Why on average? Mainly it's the fault of the lack of HP recovery, being as frail as she is. Fortunately, she has more super armor now, thanks to the renewal weapon. That's something. But overall, she still struggles with sustain. So yeah, you're forced to use a supporter that helps you with that. And well, there's also the fact that she doesn't have like a plethora of debuffs. She has debuffs, but it's only 2 significant debuffs. And in terms of buffs, the buffs are okay, but they are supporting Mugen Hoi. Ugh. As I mentioned, this doesn't have like that much damage to begin with, and the horrible trajectory doesn't help out. And well, on blue, well, blue can do something like shift. Meteor Impact is good, but I mean, she's just average. Doesn't have like something busted enough to push her over the edge. Like, she would be on great if she had more HP recovery, but she doesn't. Now, team content. Oops. Let me check. This is bad. This is. Oh no. Oh no, she's suboptimal. Like, she has a very aggressive debuff in Wind Slicer, sure. But that's all she is suffering, basically. The super slow is there, but it's 1 second, let's be real. It's useful when you're playing solo, but not that impactful when it's on a team. Unless you devise a strategy with Witch-Su, but that's kind of niche. So yeah, honestly, it's not that good because she doesn't offer anything for the team. Not with the weapons, not with the skills. The one thing is Wind Slicer, and that's it. So yeah, she's not a team player, unfortunately. She's a farmer. Okay. Murasaki. Murasaki is very decent for the most part. Like, I in my personal opinion, she lacks damage. She should have more damage because of how slow she is. If she's gonna be really, really slow attacking, at least she should deal tremendous damage. And technically she does, but when we compare her with other characters, that doesn't seem to be the case. Another silly thing about Murasaki is that she has a bunch of weapons. Some good, but the best weapon is her ultimate weapon. That's silly. One would think the renewal would be better, but it's not. It's the ultimate weapon. So yeah. For farming, she has Setsuga, Tentacle Hunt, and Tentacle Mine while using the Coral Cliff. And that's kinda it. Fujinojin, but it's a counter. I mean, it works really well, but it's a counter and you can wait a lot. Senpu can also be used. So we have about 1, 2, 3-ish. 3. Let's say 3 and some extras for skills. Because these depend on context and waiting / having the right weapon. So, is she good for farming? No, she's just average. It's particularly because she's slow, she doesn't have a teleporter. She does have the anchor, but the enemy has to be near you, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know if it works against enemies on the other side of a big stage. So, yeah. Well, she goes on average about on farming. On solo content, she's meta. I would like to drop her. As I mentioned, I'm not okay with her damage. But she has very significant tools. A very hefty, slow speed reduction and defense reduction, the highest one in the game. The ability to restore HP on demand with whatever you want. On any color, by the way. The ability to reduce speed. A lot of damage. But not busted damage like other characters, but serviceable. And well, she's very, very tanky. She's amazing. So she doesn't have a plethora of debuffs, but she has the debuffs that matter: speed reduction and defense down. That's all she needs. And the same can be said about her supportive capabilities. Everything boils down to Tentacle Mine. This skill is so good that it is used on builds that mismatch or the color, or even on mixed builds. Like, it is amazing. Tentacle Arcle also is pretty good on green, just by having a main green. You have a speed reduction on blue over here too. Like, it is very, very good. And she, on a team, she's not only going to be a debuffer, she's also usually the tank / taunter to attract the attention of the enemy and keep your range attackers safe. and she's not going to die. As simple as that. She's just amazing. Okay, so yeah. She easily goes, like, I didn't check the weapons, like there's another significant weapon. Like we have, of course, Hawiya, we have Rudolph Crusher, and Coral Cliff. On specific context, the Momochi weapon might be useful, but she's not a great Momochi weapon user. For Su. For farming, I would say outstanding or great. Let's see. So, Nakuryuso, Ryu Hashin, not this one, Sendenkan, and Kokuryuha. Yeah. And also the counter. It is not great that it is a counter, but it has a big AoE, so it's useful. So yeah, she has decent skill for farming. She has ease of farming. She can farm very well on 2 of her 3 colors. Technically in all colors thanks to this skill. So yeah, I'm gonna put her on outstanding as a farmer. Because she's pretty good, pretty decent. The tracking attacks and the teleporters are just amazing as usual. So yeah. Let's see, what else? Solo content. She's gonna go down. So she doesn't have HP recovery, first of all. That's pretty significant, unfortunately. And the good thing is that to compensate for that, she has forms of damage reduction, fortunately. But even so, that can be dicey. Good debuffs, a lot of super armor buffs, damage reduction, damage increase, damage reduction, further damage reduction, I mean, defense reduction, huge damage. Not that great of a skill, but it is fun to use actually. Very good skill, so yeah. And she has poison and a damage increase skill. So yeah, overall, I would say she's average for solo content, unfortunately. Not having healing is very bad for a character, because they are not gonna survive. Unless you put supporters that compensate for that, you know? In terms of team content, okay, this is a bit different. She has a hefty defense down with 2 red supporters. You don't have to go pure. That's good. The same can be said about this one. If you go with 2 blue, you have a defense down. But that's about it. And the poison, sure, but she's not offering anything else to the team. That's bad. So Rinko with a 30% defense down is over here. She goes to average. Like, she just have, those are good debuffs. The defense down is always a good debuff. But she doesn't do anything else on the team. She doesn't heal. She doesn't buff the party. She does apply 2 debuffs on 2 different builds. One on blue, one on red. And technically the poison if you want on green. On main green, which you can activate along with any of these 2, because it's main green and 2 blue or red. So yeah. That's kind of average. Like, she doesn't do that much. Let's see. Nui, oof. Nui's gonna go down. Problems with Nui. She does have HP recovery, but only on 1 color. She doesn't have significant buffs or debuffs. She does have some buffs, like a speed increase or critical rate increase. Which, who cares? We need damage increase. Critical damage, standard damage, whatever you want. The defense down. But no. It's just this. So, yeah. Talking about farming, she has Sogetsuin, Kasaguruma, but it's not that great because it's like the last attack can be very useful, especially with Harpoon Phantom or Phantom Harpoon, whatever. But you have to do all the attacks first, and that's annoying. Yugen Goku, kind of good, kind of bad, because it is not just a circle AoE, it's just these cylinders that have a chance to miss the enemies, especially the small ones, and that's annoying. Rondo, very good for farming, and Genijin, which is a counter. So I'm gonna say she's only because she has 3 skills. Let's see. Only because she has 3 skills, I'm gonna put her on average for farming. Remember, it's not the fact that she can clear quickly, it's the easiness for farming. Because it is very annoying, and you know it, when you are farming the bats, the one-eye bats, and you use Yugen Goku, and then you miss one of those bats, and you have to chase it. Yeah, not great. Not great. So, talking about solo content. Okay, she's gonna go down. She's gonna go to suboptimal. She has healing on red, but not. She doesn't have healing on the other builds, which already puts her on a dire situation. She has damage, like kinda usable damage. She has the Dawn of the Punisher, the Wicked Star weapon, the Ithaqua, and the Mochi weapon, along with an anti-trade weapon. But that doesn't mean she's good. Like, she doesn't have natural buffs for critical damage or damage, as you can see. She has a lot of speed increase, damage reduction, and critical rate increase. So you only count with her natural damage. So she goes to suboptimal on standard content. And it's even worse on team content. What happens here? So she can perform the counter role just as a holder, a character that just holds the party white buffs with the supporters, like your Wild West Kara, your Spinel, your Mirabelle supporter, you know? And that's it, that's all she does. And maybe use the Momochi weapon, but everyone can use the Momochi weapon. She doesn't have significant debuffs, if debuffs at all. Yeah, she doesn't have debuffs. So, no, she doesn't offer anything particular to the team. Fortunately, she's gonna receive a leader skill soon enough, and that might change how she works. Okay, obviously, there's nothing better than not touching your controller for farming. It is just the most meta thing to do. It is the best. So she goes here. Now, in terms of solo content, okay, let's cut the chase. She is gonna be meta everywhere. Let's just finish with this quickly. She's meta. Let me just elaborate a bit on why she's meta. Number one, she has a variety of weapons. She has damage increase and damage reduction against machine, damage increase for your skills, damage increase for the party with a buff, damage increase for the party with the debuff of the Momochi weapon. She has an anti-demon weapon. She has healing for herself, healing for the party. She has speed reduction and defense reduction. She has another form of speed reduction. And those are the good debuffs as usual. In terms of damage, she has Axe Impact, which is pretty good, and Round Slicer. Gravity Hull, even though it doesn't have a multiplier, it doesn't deal the damage to eliminate the enemies, but its HP recovery property is very useful. Like the weakest things from her kit are the Counter Bomb Trap and the Aegis Tackle. The Aegis Tackle, though, has utility because it allows you to reposition. It's not a bad skill. It's just like you don't use it often. So yeah, she has like a ton of value no matter what. Not to mention the fact that she's a fan favorite, and as such she has a ton of stats because of the amount of skin that she has and the variety of weapons. I mean, you saw it. So she's meta. Simple, plain, easy. Yeah, like we cannot deny it. Even though what she does is pretty basic for the team, like it works. That's all that matters. Now, Kurenai. Farming, oof. What do you have, Kurenai? You have Storm Zone, which is not that great for farming. It's like medium-sized AoEs, you know? Not the best. Stormbank is good for farming. Kamitachi is usable for farming. Kind of a teleporter or a dash. Very useful. And Gale Slash. Basically, it's these two and Kamitachi for farming. I would say in regards of farming that she's average. Yeah, she's not the kind of character that you want to use for farming. That's not her role. There's one weapon that we have to mention, and that's gonna be Dainsleif. That helps you farm faster because of the active. But I mean, are you getting a limited weapon just to farm? I don't think so. Let's see. In terms of solo content, that's a different story. Like, she's pretty good. Her notable weapons are gonna be her Dainsleif, of course, it is useful, but not like super busted. IR and UV, Grindhouse Special, Cornet of Supremacy for the lols. It is very busted when you do a right build for this one. And of course the Momochi weapon. Oh, technically what's the name? The summer weapon is also good. Because she can do like ulti spam. She was one of the first characters to be used for ulti spam builds. So she has decent debuffs. Defense reduction on blue, speed reduction on green, defense reduction on another blue. Unfortunately, it's the same debuff, same duration, same percentage. She has a super buff for herself. She has HP recovery with the counter, which you can activate by your own, thankfully. She has a decent damage on Howling Wind and Storm Zone. She has healing on red and spammability on this skill. It's really useful. But as useful as she is, I would just put her on great for standard content, for solo content. She is good, really good, but her damage is not like busted, the kind of damage that explodes enemies easily. And as you saw, she does have buffs and debuffs, but not a plethora of them. She has the single super important buff, God's Eye, and then your defense down, a single defense down on blue, basically, because it replaces the other one. The speed reduction on green over here. And then the HP recovery, HP recovery, yeah, it's just like not busted. It's just a great character, as it says. B tier. Okay, oh god, that's bad. Do you have something to offer for the team with your weapons? No. Well, technically, there's Pure Heart that increases the speed of allies by 40% for 5 seconds when using Tornado Render of all things. So yeah, I would say, let's see, Tornado Render effects. Oh yeah, that's no, guys, no. Suboptimal or average? No, average. Like, she has, for the team content, she has the speed reduction, the defense reduction. Basically, it's only gonna be Stormfang on blue or green, and green. And that's it. That's all she does. Like, at least she works on 2 colors. That's good, because Ring only works on 1 color. So yeah, you go over here. You don't provide that much utility on a team. I mean, talking as and on her defensive role. On the attacking role, for team content, she has the IR and UV that has penetration, but penetration value has dropped. It used to be like only she had decent penetration, but now a bunch of supporters were added, and that's why you might think like she has IR and UV, and that's busted for total, for not for total, for VR. But we have like a ton of other options. Like in fact, anyone can use penetration nowadays. So yeah. Let's see. Yeah, that's it. Overall, okay. Farming. First of all, farming. I was about to put her on the tier, but let's analyze it. So technically, Oboro does have a significant weapon for farming, and that's Moondragon. Just so that you know. She has Bloodstorm, Blooming Carnage, Wicked Slasher, Vicious Slasher, and Flash Step. These are great skills for farming. So I'm gonna put her on Outstanding. Like, the variety helped her out tremendously. The Teleporter also increases her abilities. The big AoE is also pretty good. Like, and did I mention that this repositions so that you can follow up with Wicked Slasher or Blooming Carnage or not Blooming Star, but one of these two? That also matters. So yeah, she easily goes on Outstanding as a farmer. On the single content, she's gonna be meta. On every single color, she has the ability to apply the mind control, which is busted. She has decent damage. She has great weapons in the form of a skull, the anti-trade weapon, the critical weapon, the Momochi weapon, of course. So yeah, she's just amazing. She's very, very good. And not to mention that she has some decent debuffs, like the speed reduction debuff over here. And some interesting buffs. The damage increase buff, the speed increase buff, the speed increase buff over here. Like, she's just amazing. Decreases the target. You see how many debuffs she has? She's not only mind control, she's amazing. God, just play with this character. It's like very, very easy for 1,000 gems. If I'm not mistaken, she's 1,000 gems. Is she not? Or is she 1,200? I don't remember. No, she's more expensive. No, she's more expensive because Emily, it's more expensive if I'm not mistaken. It was these three that were 1,000, were they not? I don't remember. So yeah, she is just meta, and the same can be said about this one. Like, guys, what is more busted than applying mind control? Nothing is. It is in fact so busted that they give an immunity to the Total Wars bosses to mind control. As simple as that. So she's very, very good. Let's see. What else? Asuka. Asuka is not my favorite. I like playing with her, but she has issues. So she has Bomb Escape, the Basic Enhancer, and Rendering Storm for farming. Wind Gun Slicer is also good for farming, but again, a perfect dodge. Mach Impact, not that good. It's usable on farming, but having a cone on a dash attack is not that great. A cone AoE on a dash attack is not that great because you can miss your target fairly easily. So I'm gonna put her. Wait a moment. Very good. Works on any color. She definitely goes on great. Like, yeah, I cannot deny it. Even if this activates on a perfect dodge, you can just start by using Bomb Escape, and while you hover around, the enemies get near you, and then immediately after you use the Wind Slicer, so it's not that bad. And, well, the basics are just very good for farming. So yeah. For notable weapons, we have Serpent of Carnage, which gives her HP recovery on any build using Kill 'Em All missiles. Impact Blade, which gives huge damage increase. And the Anti-Trade Machine Weapon. For her power on solo content. Unfortunately, she doesn't have natural healing. She does have healing with the right weapon, but that's gonna reduce her score. She does have damage, I cannot deny that. It is fairly simple. But let's see her debuffing and buffing capabilities. She has a speed reduction, but unfortunately it's the same percentage on the same duration. That's not great, you know? On 3 skills on top of that. Then you have defense reduction, very, very good. You have damage increase, speed increase, and critical rate increase. Unfortunately, it has the same activation command as Mag Impact, which is very bad. Especially when the damage increase is on green. So, yeah. Okay. For solo content, I'm gonna put her on great. Like, her raw damage pushes her to great. She doesn't do much, honestly. That's the issue. Because as I mentioned, having the same percentage and duration is bad because it means that you're gonna replace the debuff instead of stacking the debuff. But she has a variety of debuffs, like another defense down on the counter, but nonetheless a defense down, and that it stacks with the other one, so that's good. And she does have a lot of damage, so she goes on great for solo content. So she goes on average for team content. We just saw it, she does have debuffs, but she's not that great. If you put her, she's not gonna provide healing for the party, so you have to put a different healer. Or you have to babysit her, which is not great. For what? For 2 defense downs on green? And speed reduction, constant speed reduction, that's kind of useful. That's kind of useful. But as I mentioned, you don't stack those debuffs. That heavily reduces her score on this regard. Water. Okay, let's go to the next one. Kirara. This one. Okay, Kirara farmer. No, she's not good on farming, I can tell you that. Like, she can farm with Frigid Zone, but it's a perfect touch. We already mentioned that. Snow Veil, usable for farming, but it locks you in place, and the enemies have to come to you. If you are facing ranged enemies, that's not gonna happen. And the range is not like super busted to begin with. Glacier Drop, good for farming, and that's kind of it. These are the 3 skills for farming. Technically, the basic can also work, but it's very slow. So on farming, she's suboptimal. Sorry. Now, solo content. She's extremely tanky. She's very tanky. She has great weapons. She has the Mariner of the Storm, which is a your critical weapon. She has Luffy's Drop that gives her HP recovery, the Momochi weapon. 0 point. 0 point enhances her farming capabilities, guys, but we're not, like, if we average, it doesn't matter that much. Because it only enhances the farming capabilities on red if you have the weapon. So, yeah. She doesn't have healing, but she can tank stuff. Wait. When attacking an enemy with freeze, deal damage. No, she doesn't have healing. You need to have either Luffy's Drop or the ultimate weapon. If you don't have healing. But you also have the supporters, so 2 weapons and the supporters can provide you with the healing you need, because you are not going to get like 2 shot before finishing the stage. You're fairly tanky with this character. She does have decent damage if you build her properly. Like, she's good at soloing. She's good at clearing waves when they are melee. And she can debuff with speed reduction, defense down, speed reduction, damage increase over here, reduce the enemy of the damage on the counter, reduce the defense of the enemy, a hefty defense down, damage increase over here. So she has both good debuffs and good buffs. Not like a plethora of buffs, but she has buffs. And, well, she has decent damage. I'll put her on... let me compare her with the other ones on great. I think I'm gonna be a bit rough with this evaluation, but okay, great. On solo content, only because of her lack of natural HP recovery. If you already have that cover, she is outstanding because of the amount of debuffs she provides. But on her own, she doesn't apply those HP recovery. That HP recovery, you need to use the weapons or supporters. So yeah, she's great. She's great. Now, on the other hand, for team content, she's outstanding. She's really good. She works perfectly as a supporter, party-wide supporter holder. You know, like those Mirabelle supporter, the Ragnarok supporter, Taimanin Ragnarok, Taimanin Shinmora supporter. Like those are really good over on her because she has significant debuffs that are going to help out the party. Particularly her signature freezing debuff is very good. So yeah. Oh, Ingrid. My god, poor Ingrid. She suffers from the same flaws as well, not exactly the same flaws, but she's similar to Shiranui. I can tell you that. Like, talking about farming, she has Evil Flare, Evil Heart Blast, a perfect dodge, you know, that we don't like those, and Dark Flame. Crescent Slash is there, but it's not that useful because it's only a straight line, but can be used for farming, I won't deny that. So basically, she relies a lot on Evil Flare and the pure color skill, depending on what you're using. So she's average on farming, basically. It is unfortunate, but yeah, like we don't want to rely on these kind of skills. The perfect dodge. Evil Flare, the teleporter is really strong. I can tell you that. Now, solo content. On solo content, she's fairly good because she has damage increase, speed increase, critical damage increase, speed increase. These buffs are pretty good. She has speed reduction on red, reduce the damage of the enemy, a hefty damage reduction. She also has damage reduction when applying the Hellfire debuff. She has, let's see, what else? That's it. And a lot of damage. A lot of damage. She has for the weapons, she has the blue lightsaber, that's fairly good. She has ad hoc, the Momochi weapon, Ignis Blade, the Wicked Star weapon, the Candy Saber, which is the anti-demon weapon. Like, she has so many weapons. She has a decent amount of debuffs, though she doesn't like to synergize those debuffs. Like, she doesn't like to... She focuses more on buffing herself than abusing a defense down. She doesn't have a defense down. Or applying many speed reductions. So the debuffs are okay, but not as impactful as some other characters like Sakura. Sakura's debuffs are amazing. But the buffs are really good. And her raw damage is already pretty good. Not to mention the fact that the weapons give her a lot of options. So, for solo content, I'm gonna put her on great. She cannot go to outstanding due to her lack of HP recovery, but she's kind of on the same boat as Kirara. She could go there if she had her own natural HP recovery. Oh yeah. And let's not talk about team content. She barely offers anything for your team. She's gonna be a main attacker, okay? And what does she offer? Speed reduction on red. If you use evil blue, no. So enemies on team content are fairly strong, and you don't break the super armor easily against them. So you're gonna take some hits. That's not good. You don't want to take hits with a turret attack. So no. And what else? Like reduce the damage on blue. That could be used. Like with this, and this, you can deal damage. Use your Ingrid as a placeholder. She's kind of average on team content. Barely thanks to blue. Barely, honestly. Like, I wish she wasn't as selfish as she is. She's just a selfish character. That's the issue. Noah. Okay. So Noah is fairly good for farming, I think. Let me remember. Oh yeah, so she has Harpy Shade. Good. Unfortunately, it's only on a straight line, but it's good. Caroline Miley, good for farming. Amanda's Exile, also good for farming. It is the follow-up attack, which you can use after Caroline Miley's or Dream Shade. Marauding Mandy, also fairly good because it pulls the enemies towards you. This one is also good for farming. A perfect dodge, but usable. That's a good thing. And Robert's Revenge for the mobility, but usually you use Caroline's Valleys, so not necessary. Juliet's Snare is there. It's kind of like Sakura's red skill. Medium size AoE that you can use for farming, but it can also miss a couple enemies, so we don't like to use it for farming that much. Let me think. Like, she has a ton of variety. But her AoE leaves a bit to be desired. Like, this carries her. The fact that you can use it on any color with these two allows her to just farm quickly. Yeah. She goes to outstanding as a farmer. Because on top of this synergy, you can use all of these skills for farming. So yeah. So only because of the amount of skills that you can use for farming. Now, for solo content. So she has HP recovery on blue. Yeah, 2 forms of HP recovery on blue to begin with. That's useful. Unfortunately, she doesn't have HP recovery on other colors, but she has absurd damage on green. And she has a defense down on green. Reduce damage taken, so you become bulkier with this one. That's also good. Reduce damage taken, that's also good. Becoming bulkier on green, so that you don't die. Red leaves much to be desired. Like, you have damage increase buffs, so you can just abuse Julius Snare. So it's there. Okay, you know what's the problem with her? She doesn't have ways to abuse her kit. She does have the best is gonna be the green one, because you use the right synergy. The damage, the defense reduction for the enemy, along with the huge damage multiplier. You don't even have a buff, unfortunately, but it is what it is. And when you have buffs, you don't have damage reduction, and this one doesn't deal as much damage as Harpy's Stream Shade, unfortunately. So yeah, you see where I'm going? Like, if you had on many builds, on many colors, the defense down above and your main damaging skill, she would go higher, but she'll have to sell for great on solo content. Team content, she has a problem. What does she offer? She can be a tank number 1 easily on blue, so she's a counter, but then she doesn't do anything. She just takes hits. She can apply the defense down on green. You don't have to go pure. You can just use the main green. That's good. She has Debilate. Debilate is usable on PvP, and there's a couple enemies like the human mutant, which we can apply this and then they don't heal as much, but basically it is kind of useless for normal content. It's just for PvP, the Debilate debuff. So she doesn't offer significant debuffs. Like, she has HP restoration with the familiars over here, but the familiars are not that great. Yeah, so she's gonna go to suboptimal for team content, unfortunately. Talking about her weapons, because I didn't mention the weapons, we can highlight Crystal Heart because it allows her to become tankier. The same can be said about Mini Frost. Very good. We also have the anti-human weapon. We have Mr. Wonderbird, and of course, the Chaotic Beholder and the Momochi weapon. Like, she has great weapons for damage increase, but she can do very good as a damage dealer. Just that she doesn't have enough debuffs on her kit or buffs on her kit on the same build, on the same color to abuse everything. Like, she lacks an attack buff on green. She lacks defense debuffs on red, debuffs that increase her damage. I mean, she has the Debilate, but you know what I mean. So yeah, Azeroth. I mean, we already know she relies on the basic enhancer and Serpent Blaze, and that's it. She auto farms. Just push one button and you finish. That's it. These 3 skills do all the heavy lifting for farming on Azeroth. Then, okay, for solo content, she barely has HP recovery with Satellite Flare. That's bad. She has, she can make it a competent HP recovery skill with the weapon, with the Undying Apophis, but having a specific weapon. Now, she applies debuffs, kinda, but let me show you. Reduce the target's defense, yay! On a counter for a ranged attacker. You don't even want to get hit to begin with. Okay, reduce the familiar attack, reduce the speed of the enemy, yay! It's a perfect dodge. Okay, but for challenging content, so it's okay. But, well, it's just a speed reduction. 1 speed reduction. Then do you have something else? No. Reduce damage of the enemy on a counter. Ugh. Terror, burn, terror. Increase your damage, terror. You see the problem over here? She only has a damage increase on green, and green is the critical rate skill, so it doesn't deal much damage. It can help you with clearing waves, but that's about it. Talking about the weapons, she has the Wicked Star weapon, the 30% Holy Knight weapon, the Christmas weapon, which is just a worse version of the Wicked Star weapon, Undying Apophis, which is pretty good, the Momochi weapon, the supportive weapon that increases the critical rate while using Hellblaze, increased area of effect and duration of Hellblaze. That's actually very significant because Hellblaze is already a pretty busted skill. And yeah, the hexagram for anti-machine, basically. So yeah, she's gonna drop, guys. Her mobility carries her very hard, similar to Ingrid's damage. Astaroth doesn't have healing, sure, But if you play her right, the enemies are not gonna touch her because she just moves around and she's not gonna die. So even though her lack of HP recovery should drop her, her mobility, which is something rare for the most part, carries her to the position of great. That and her natural damage. Because as you can see, she's a selfish attacker that doesn't offer anything for the team, and like what? Speed reduction? Thank you, that's kinda useful. But you have to go green, and that means that you don't have damage. And when you have damage, you're an attacker, you don't buff yourself significantly or anything. Like, if she had buffs, or she could abuse terror, because she takes a lot of time to apply terror, so yeah, she's great, but very selfish, similar to Ingrid, just a selfish attacker that doesn't buff or synergize her debuffs properly. And I mean, she's suboptimal for team content because she doesn't offer anything, only that speed reduction. And again, Rinko has a single debuff just like Astaroth, and she's over here, so yeah. I mean, terror is there, but again, stacks, you have to get all your stacks, and you have to constantly cast your skills to constantly apply terror, and that's not fun, not great. Okay, Tokiko. Tokiko is very good, guys. After the renewal, she became amazing. Let's start by saying that she has piercing with her darts, and that's very significant because it enhances her farming capabilities. This works as a farming skill, this works as a farming skill, this works as a farming skill. This might seem as a farming skill, but it is not. Clairvoyance works as a farming skill. Again, perfect dodge, not that great, but it works. Good, good, and good. Even though she has like few skills for farming, the piercing does the heavy lifting. So I'm gonna put her on great. She's a great farming. No Sakura, no Ringo, but she's good. She's good for farming. Now, solo content. She has a very noticeable weakness, and that's her lack of HP recovery. She has some HP recovery from her own age, that helps out. She has significant weapons. We have the Nerkasan, the anti-human weapon, the Aurora, the mechanical dart, the busted one, of course, and 4 skills. She doesn't have significant buff. Technically, she has the Clairvoyance, which is supposed to be her signature buff that I don't even remember what it does. Does it allow her to create? Let's just check that. Icon list, Clairvoyance. Damage taken reduce, super armor active. Okay, thank you. Like, okay, it makes her tankier. That's not a bad debuff, especially for a supporter like her. But blue is technically her damaging build, and it applies Clairvoyance. In fact, it is very good that it applies Clairvoyance on this skill, because that way you don't get interrupted. But okay. So what does she have? Speed reduction and defense reduction on green, both of these. Then speed reduction on blue. Let's see. Hefty defense reduction on green. Long defense reduction on red, and a defense reduction with a lot of damage on blue. Like, Clairvoyance is very, very good. I even like Clairvoyance, I mean. So she has the damage, guys. She has the damage to go to great. Like, for solo content, she's very good. But she doesn't have HP recovery. Like, a bunch of you guys are on this section of the tier list because you don't have HP recovery. Like, natural HP recovery. You have to use a weapon for that. Or supporters. So yeah, unfortunately, similar to Kirara and Ingrid. She could go higher if she had the natural HP recovery, but she doesn't. On the other hand, she's meta on teams because I mean, mechanical dart is busted. It's the Momochi weapon without the Momochi gimmick. We also have Aurora, which is another Momochi weapon like. We have a ton of debuffs, the hefty defense downs over here on green, the speed reduction on green or blue. I mean, need I say more? She's just amazing. She's going to constantly debuff the enemies in combination with the weapons and her skills. What happened here? Let's just not level, number. Okay, Chizuru. Okay, Chizuru is good, but let's just check. This is good for farming. This is usable on farming. This is good and bad for farming. Good because of the big AoE and damage. Bad because of the speed. But I mean, it is usable. I cannot deny that. Plant Wall, it's a counter, but it's good for farming because of the big AoE. And you might get hit, so it's not that bad. And then the other skills are not that great. She has a pseudo teleporter, but not that great. So in terms of farming, no, she cannot be on the same tier as Ingrid, I can tell you that, or Shiranish. So she goes on great, like the lower side of great, but great nonetheless. Like particularly Planted Blade is just so busted. 2 out of 3 colors are very useful for farming, so that's good. And a whip shot works on every color, so she's good. Her notable weapons are gonna be actually the 2 SR. She has 2 anti-trait. This one freezes, the Frozen Belt Carrier. It is not like super busted, but it's an ish. The Eye of Dawn is very busted for team content. The same can be said about the Momochi weapon. She's a very good Momochi weapon user. And Goddess of Love is going to help out for the roses to buff the party. Solo content. So she has healing, she has damage, she has a ton of debuffs on red. Did I mention that? Like a ton of debuffs and a buff. She can reduce the speed of the enemy with many of her skills on blue. She also has the Seed Bomb that applies a speed reduction and damage over time. Speed reduction over here, speed reduction with this skill also, and healing. So she's definitely going on outstanding, no doubt about that. Unfortunately, there's 2 flaws for this one. How frail she is, and the lack of super armor when starting her combos. Like, she has enough super armor when casting her skills. But if you're gonna start doing your skill or your combos, like, she's vulnerable there. She can get interrupted, and you can just set the cooldown and don't do the skill. Like, that's bad. But it is not going to happen that often. Let's see. For team content, she's meta. I cannot deny it. Like, she provides buffs with her new passive. She has healing for the party. Not the best healing, but healing. And it works as a debuff, speed debuffs. She has significant debuffs on blue and red. And she has great weapons for the party. Like 3 great weapons for the party. So that's why she goes on meta. Oof. Felicia. So Felicia isn't quite a farmer. She can do some farming with Orochi, but okay, it has 12-second cooldown now. Like, I think it was 18 before, but I mean, it's good. We can use Orochi. Slaying Spree can also be used for farming, but its medium sight is slow and it's a tracking attack. So the basic enhancers can be used for farming, but we don't want to spam. Evil Strange can be used for farming, but No, no, now it's a big size. It used to be like medium size, but now it's big. So it's good. So yeah. Average or great? Average or great? Oh no, over here. Let me think. Let me think. I'm gonna drink water. Great. Average, great average. No, she's not on par with Shizuru, and Shizuru's on the lower half of this, so she's just average as a farmer. I mean, farming isn't her role. Of course, she's gonna go there. For solo content, she's, as long as you have enough defenses, she's not gonna die because she always have the ability to heal herself. That's pretty significant. She has great debuffs, speed reduction and defense reduction on green. She has great damage on red as long as you crit, which you can guarantee by applying a buff. On blue, blue is supposed to be the team-wide, the team content build, so don't worry too much about it. So, outstanding or great? Well, taking into consideration her new passive, that is going to constantly increase your damage and speed, I'll put her on great. Honestly, I'm being quite picky this time with characters for solo content. We can see that there's a lot of great characters, but they don't make it to outstanding or meta. You have to be really busted to go over here. And for solo content, for team content, I mean, I'm gonna put her on outstanding. Her healing isn't meta. There are better ways of healing. Because you have to inflict the debuff. Some characters, Worm Knight, cannot be inflicted with debuffs. So that's something to take into consideration. Not only that, if you don't deal that much damage with the character who is attacking, that character is not going to heal. So that's something to take into consideration. If the enemy has invincibility, then you're not going to be healing yourself. It's not like healing with Lapis. Then, the debuffs are very significant, but only on green. The red is good. It deals damage. It deals significant damage, but she's not the kind of character that you use on team content for damage. And blue has a great build that is going to deal a lot of it's gonna be tanky while providing the healing. That's what it does on blue. For the weapons, we have the damaging weapon, the the buff stripping weapon, and the Momochi weapon. Technically, we have the anti-demon weapon, but like the weapons don't matter too much for Felicia overall. So yeah, Micah, meta for farming. I mean, you just spam 2 skills and that's it. 3 skills. Let's go over here to Micah. Micah is gonna be spamming her main damaging skill, no matter the color, Ruthless Explosion and Carpet Bombing. Carpet Bombing, I know, it's a perfect dodge, but it's one of those perfect dodge that it transitions well. You only use it when an enemy gets near, and when you do, you just dodge and they die instantly thanks to this skill. Basically, you just spam Ruthless Explosion and the main damaging skill, and if someone escapes, they are dead because they're gonna go next to you and you just evade. So it's very good. So yeah, it's just spamming your skills that you obliterate everything. That's why she goes over here on meta. You don't even have to use the basic. That's also pretty good. Now, solo content. This character doesn't have healing. That's important. But it has great debuffs in the form of Red Ruthless Explosion, which provides a hefty defense down. It also has a hefty attack down, but we never use that one because we want to use Meido. Then we have carpet bombing. Shells are increases by 50. On blue, it gives you a damage increase. This one reduces the speed of the enemy and deals decent damage. It's a counter, but Maika isn't frail. That's very significant. Maika isn't a glass cannon. She's just a powerhouse without healing. And then, yeah, for solo content, outstanding. Let me check the weapons. Oh yeah, like the incendiary round span weapon, the Momochi weapon pretty good. She has a critical weapon. She has the anti-machine weapon, the use your basics weapon. Yeah, she's outstanding. Her raw damage carries her hard, and that in conjunction with her weapon variety, because she can go with an SR weapon and she's gonna do fine. The critical weapons are always busted. Then we have her party-wide capabilities. So she goes on great. That's the thing. She is only an attacker. She doesn't do much other than that. She performs well at that role. She doesn't have healing, but I mean, you're gonna have a taunt or a healer for that. What does she offer other than damage? Well, she offers a very significant debuff on Ruthless Explosion. And it is not that rare to go with her. With a red build on team content. So yeah, that's good. Other than that, what does she offer? Nothing. I mean, she's a good Momochi weapon user, sure, but that's what she's gonna do. She's gonna deal damage, which she does decently, like Ingrid. But on top of that, she has a defense down. The defense down on a big AoE attack. It is impactful, very, very impactful. Like, Ingrid is over here, and she doesn't do that much on a team. And this one deals damage just like Ingrid, but on top of that, it has a defense down. She's performing her role and also helping the party. Yeah. Rin. For farming, Rin is pretty decent. She has Electric Volt, Volt Whip, the basic enhancer, Volt Whip, the basic enhancer, and Volt Rush. These are the skills that you use for farming. The animations are long, it takes some time, but she's pretty good. Is she outstanding? Is she on par with Rinko or Sakura? Definitely. No doubt about that. She's outstanding as a farmer. Like, you can just transition between the skills. The main damaging, the basic, and Volt Rush, and that's it. It is not that bad. Then, solo content. So she has healing capabilities, but only on one color, and that's gonna be green. That's already bad. She is prone to interruption if they hit her on the wrong moment, because you can use your skills and you're gonna do the whole animation. You have a lot of super armor, but you don't have iframes. You take damage. Good thing she's not a glass cannon. She's tanky enough, but she's not gonna take a ton of hits. She's just gonna withstand a bit. That's why HP recovery is important. She has decent damage. She has the ability to inflict electrocute on all colors. She has significant debuffs in electrocute for all colors, in speed reduction on red, speed reduction on green, speed reduction on blue. She has speed reduction on all colors, but she's not gonna stack those speed reductions, but she has the important ones. The electrocute, by the way, works as a form of defense down, so She has the important debuffs. Yeah, the weapons. Let's see those weapons. Unfortunately, she doesn't have as many weapons to abuse. She has the anti-trade, increases skill damage. She's generally good, but it's not good enough. Excellent user for the Momochi weapon, like it's worth noting. She has Lightning Rouser, she has Masamune Seimei. No, not Masamune Seimei, Narukami. She has Narukami. I'm gonna put her on. She doesn't have Micah's damage. She doesn't have the necessary healing, but she has enough control, like Asagi, to go over here because she has a speed reduction on all colors. So yeah, she can go to outstanding. Lastly, for the team content, she goes on. Let's see, on outstanding or meta. Outstanding or meta. I mean, her best build is meta, sure, but overall, excellent Momochi weapon user. She is going to buff the party with the Narukami, and then she's going to provide good debuffs. I'm gonna put her on meta. I'm gonna put her on meta, mainly because of the weapons. I mean, overall she is outstanding, but if we take into consideration the weapons, the fact that she has two excellent weapons to support the whole team is going to improve her score, because like Asagi, she just has the good debuffs. She has speed reduction and electrocute, which she can apply on every color. Asagi cannot do that. She can apply either defense down or speed reduction. I mean, she can apply speed reduction on any build, sure, but not as aggressive as on red. I mean, but Rin is gonna apply the two good debuffs that matter. So, and on top of that, she has a weapon that improves the performance of the party. So that's why she goes on meta. Now, let's see. For the next one, we have Sora. For farming, Sora. Do we have significant weapons for farming? No. Technically, this improves the performance of the blue build, but it's just a slight improve, not like too busted to be significant on the evaluation. Let's see. We have Celestial Fox, Fox God Arrow, and God's Maw. And also Yudachi. The fact that the basics have piercing, I mean the projectiles have piercing. And we have Chosen. Chosen has always lacked damage. Like, sure, it has a nice AoE, but it doesn't feel devastating or just like that it destroys stuff. But okay, let's see. So she can farm on any color. She can hit multiple enemies. She can easily farm with Celestial Fox. As a farmer, she definitely surpasses Shizuru. But is she on par with Micah? No, I wouldn't say she's on par with Micah. Like, Micah has so much raw power on her attacks that, and as I mentioned, like, if one of your attacks that you can use for farming doesn't like clear a wave easily, then you have issues. So outstanding it is. Because of the amount of variety, you can use it. You can farm on any build effectively, though like all of them have their particular characteristics that you have to take into consideration. Like, this is a cone, this is a cylinder that it's not gonna hit like everywhere. and this one is um, a straight line that hits the targets behind, but it is kind of a single target attack at the same time, you know? So yeah, like honestly, Celestial Forks carries the farming capabilities a lot. So yeah, just outstanding. The variety helps out, like being able to farm on all the colors. Solo content. So Sora has the ability to apply Firefox, which is going to, let me remember what it does. It says over here, increases damage taken by 3%, decreases speed by 3%, and decreases critical resistance by 2% per stack up to 5 stacks. So a 15 defense reduction, a 15% defense reduction, 15% speed reduction, and 10% critical resistance reduction at max. So yeah, that's a very good debuff. Let's see. For notable weapons, we have the anti-trade weapon, we have the package weapon, the renewal weapon. She can use the Momoshi weapon, but I wouldn't call her like a good user of this weapon. She can abuse it with a particular skill, but like she isn't like extremely fast and has an absurd amount of multi-hits. She has multi-hits, but not absurd. And this is funny, just funny. Let's see. So she has significant buffs with Flare of Grudge. Like this applies an attack of, and on top of that it has speed increase, critical rate up, and critical damage up. That's pretty good. This is all she needs because this buff is so aggressive. It does so much that it's all that she needs. Remember, on all the colors, this increases damage and speed for 6 seconds. So it is very good. Up to 10 seconds if you have the 3 effects. The pure color build. So yeah, she has decent damage on any build. Like I don't want to say the best color is because Sora heavily relies on Celestial Fox for her best builds. But all of them have competent damage. Not busted, just good enough to eliminate the enemy fairly easily. So yeah, let's see. Firefox gives you HP recovery on red. Fox Gods give you HP recovery on blue, which that's very, very good for survivability. She has debuffs. She's not great on the debuff department, with the only exception being her own unique debuff, Firefox, because she provides speed reduction on blue, yeah, on a follow-up attack. Then you have a speed increase on green, which usable but not like busted. She has damage reduction on blue, speed increase on red over here, speed increase on green, damage increase on blue. This one, like, it is pretty good, but it's a counter, and it has ensnare. This is still pretty bad because it's a counter. That's the only issue with this skill. Because ensnare is pretty valuable. Honestly, I would make this I don't know, a perfect touch, no, but maybe a dash attack. I would make this a dash attack that works different, but applies the ensnare and the buff. That would make it even better. So yeah, yeah. For solo content, she's meta. Okay, this is fairly simple. Range attackers are busted. And she's not exactly frail, nor is she a tank. But she has HP recovery skills on 2 colors. That's extremely valuable. As I mentioned, she has competent damage. Not like busted like Micah, but fairly good. So that's a lot. If Micah is over here, because she doesn't have HP recovery, Sora with the good amount of debuffs, the competent buffs, the HP recovery has to go to meta. It's as simple as that. On team content. Okay. So, on team content, Sora is gonna be evaluated very similar to Ingrid and Micah. But she goes on outstanding, as simple as that. Why? Why is she better than Micah? Well, because she has more debuffs. As simple as that. So, yeah, she performs the damage dealer role great, like as expected. But on top of that, she has significant debuffs that you can apply onto the enemy that are going to help out. Like the speed reduction, like the ensnare, it is not the best thing, but you can use it. Like the damage reduction. So yeah, she has more debuffs. And more importantly, the Foxfire that covers multiple stats. The critical resistance, the speed, the damage increase. I mean, it is very, very good. So even if her debuffs are not as aggressive as Micah, she has more options. And on top of that, it's likely that you don't have to babysit her, because for Micah, either you have a really, really good counter that keeps the enemies always away from Micah, or you have someone that provides healing for her. For Sora, it doesn't matter. She's gonna heal by herself. So, yeah, she performs better than Micah on a team. No, I don't want to say better, but she provides more things for a team. That's more accurate. She provides more things on a team. So she gets up. Now, the pay-to-win character, sure. Which honestly is like not that different from other characters, in my opinion. Like, it's just paywall, sure, but it doesn't make that much of a difference as a character. It's not like super busted. Well, they made her super busted after the renewal, but she got there's another new busted character in the form of Saika, so it doesn't matter. Let's see. Farming capabilities. She has Medosen, but it's a straight line. That's the only disadvantage. She has Hyakuretsu Sen, but that's a cone. Like, those have disadvantages because, of course, you're not gonna hit like everyone around you. Rymax is very good for farming. Darkness is good for farming, but it lacks a bit of damage. Devour is good for farming, and that's kinda it. Yeah, that's kinda it. Those are the skills that you can use. So she honestly is going to be carried by these skills. The good thing about her is that she has very competent damage to begin with. So is she outstanding as a farmer or great? Like, she's better than Shizuru. She's better than Tokiko for farming, sure. I think she goes to outstanding. Yeah, definitely. She goes to outstanding. She can farm very easily, just like Rinko. So yeah, she goes over here. In terms of solo content, for solo content, we have to check the weapons. So she's gonna be able to use the same weapons as Asagi. So the weapons are gonna be like, the significant weapons are the same. The HP recovery weapon, which she doesn't need because she has HP recovery on her kit, but she can use. We have the particle charge weapon in case you want to go to particle shenanigans. We have the Momochi weapon because she has a good amount of multi-hit. The Berserker weapon, I don't recommend it, but it's there. We have the Gundari. We have the... I cannot say this. but this weapon, the event weapon. We have the bouquet sword, not that great overall, but usable nonetheless. And of course her best weapon, Kahahirako. I mean, these are kind of interchangeable, but they are very good, both of them. So, yeah. She has HP recovery on every color, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, on every color with Devour. That's very busted. And on top of that, Devour offers really good debuffs on green and red. Then Madosen has another HP recovery skill. That's that's good. That buffs speed, reduces enemies' speed, or decreases enemies' defense by 10%, 10 seconds. She has busted damage with these two skills, and this has a bit of utility, and it's good for farming. It's not bad, but it's not like your premier choice for challenging content. She has more buffs in the form of Fang Strike. It increases speed, defense, and damage. She has the busted Yakshan Bound that she can basically activate just by using the skills, so you don't have to actually equip it because you just have this on the leader skill. And the great basic attack enhancer, Divine Wrath, which honestly was kind of mediocre when it released, but now, since it's a skill activation, it helps with the Yaksha's Wrath passive, so it's pretty good. And on top of that, it applies Electrocute on green, so that's pretty good. This was still a really bad skill because it's a counter. The effects are not bad, but having to take a hit, it's bad. So yeah, let's see. So, meta, sure. I cannot deny it. Like, aggressive, really aggressive debuffs. Busted buffs. And great damage. With HP recovery. What can I say? She's just good. She's just really, really good. Is she meta on teams? Similar to Ingrid, Maika, and Sora, she works as a main attacker. But on top of that, she has the ability to go supportive. It's not her main role on a team, but she can do it. Okay? So, basically, she's gonna go to meta, as simple as that. Because her main gimmick is going to be dealing damage. But as I mentioned, she has very aggressive and diverse buffs and debuffs. It's for herself, the buffs, but she's gonna be your main attacker, so that's no problem. So yeah, she goes to meta, simple as that. Why? There was something that I wanted to mention. Yeah, the supportive build. She can go supportive with two weapons. With the Momochi weapon, of course, as usual, and the Bouquet sword on a blue build. You can just apply, not the debuffs with this one, but you apply defense reduction with this skill, and the weapon allows you to increase the critical rate and damage of your of the characters in the AoE of your skill. So that's usable. Like it isn't the first choice for everyone, but it's something that she can do, and it's not bad. Oof, Momochi Nagi. Okay, I mean, okay, for farming, what does she has? She has Flutter, she has a Scorpion, she has a Storm, that this is very good and it works on any color. But more than anything, she has Momochi Sword style. You just need to put the basic and spam the basic attack. And that's it. That's all she does. Like, it is just like Astaroth. Her basics are so busted that she's meta by default for farming. Really good. And not just for farming, guys. She's amazing. So, she has HP recovery on an attack that deals very decent damage and has a big AoE, so you can attack multiple targets and recover insane amounts of HP. On top of that, it gives you a defense increase, a very aggressive defense increase or damage increase on green and blue respectively. Then you have Momochi Wasp over here that applies debuffs. Poison on green and damage increase on red. A damage increase buff on red. Unfortunately, it's a counter, but you're gonna use it. Centipede. Centipede is good. It's the rainbow color skill. It has a defense down, skill cooldown reduction, and damage increase. Which it is a hook attack. That means that you're gonna grab the enemy and go near them. So repositioning is really useful. Stormbringer, Flutter, and Scorpion, all of them have competent damage. The only one that is kind of not as good as the others is Stormbringer, because you can get interrupted, and because if the enemy has enough super armor, they can get near you and they stop getting hit by this skill. It's a slight disadvantage. It gets fixed with the right weapons, but it is good. Moonshade applies speed reduction on green, deals more damage on blue, increases damage, gives you a damage buff on red. Really useful skill. This one deals decent damage, burns the enemy on green, increases speed on blue, and performs more damage on red. And then the basics, both of them are busted. Both. This one is more busted for single content, when you fight an enemy, a boss, because you have so much multi-hits and so much damage. And it allows you to charge your particles pretty fast. And let's not talk about this. I mean, this is not bad. She used to lack HP recovery. She has one generic HP recovery skill, but it has 18-second cooldown. That's kind of risky because she's frail and she's prone to interruption. She has enough super armor on some of her skills, but if you're starting your combo chain as usual, you can get just interrupted before you do anything. So this helps her out tremendously because it's going to give you healing area basically. So yeah, she goes to meta over here. And oh, well, I haven't mentioned the weapons. Let's talk a bit about the weapons. Just like Rin, an excellent Momochi weapon user. First of all, she has an anti-human weapon. She has the Tatari Katana, which enhances Stormbringer and also her basics. She has the Kumo Kiri, that is just a boss killer weapon. And she has the Masamune Seimei, which increases her damage and increases her speed and gains super armor when hit at a 50% chance for 3 seconds, which was one of her problems. So yeah, that's pretty good. Is she meta for team content? Similar to the previous characters, she's gonna be a main attacker on your team. She's not a debuffer per se. She can do debuffing capabilities. She can abuse the Momochi weapon, something that not every character can do. She provides a speed reduction. Let's see, more speed reduction on Centipede. So defense and speed reduction on green. Where is the other one? Increases speed? No, she doesn't have like many debuffs. Yeah, she's lacking in the debuff department. But the Momochi weapon. So she has the Momochi passive. She has damage increase and critical rate increase. But when you summon the Momochi Toyo clone, let's see. While near the clone, allies attack increased by 20% and recover HP. This is valuable. Very valuable. I'll put her on great or outstanding. I think she's great. Like, unfortunately, she doesn't offer many debuffs. She has great damage, sure. But depending on the content, you might have to babysit her a little bit. Because, as I mentioned, she has competent healing. But on team content, there's a lot of damage coming from the bosses. so you might need a bit of extra healing. And as I mentioned, she's not going to provide a plethora of debuffs. She has a couple debuffs, but they are not that impactful because of the percentages, like 10% speed reduction, 10% defense reduction. The only really impactful thing is gonna be the Momochi weapon and the Momochi Toyo AoE buff. So yeah, she goes on great. Like, mainly she's gonna be a main attacker. Now, let's go with Aina. Aina is like the highlight for this last update. In the case of Aina, I mean, I can tell you very quickly, she's a meta farmer. She has always been a meta farmer. Like, well, I don't remember if I put her on meta last time, but Bullet Storm, such a great skill for farming. Suicide Drone, this lacks damage, but its AoE is good enough, and the damage is good enough for dailies and event, so it's fine. Fastest Shot, while it is a single target skill, it's just so spammable that you can abuse it and use it on farming. And Triple Burst, good for farming because of the huge damage that it deals, and because it keeps attacking for a while. Like, it lasts a couple seconds, so it's really good. The basics, don't get deceived. Even though they look that you can use them similar to Triple Burst, the fact of the matter is you don't deal as much damage. So yeah, if you obliterate the enemies with your basics, they kinda help, but they're not like super fast. Bullet Dance, not useful for farming. Quad Bursts can be used, but not the best. And well, honestly, these characters get carried by Bullet Storm, as simple as that. Like, this skill is busted, and the fact that she can farm on any color, it's also pretty important. And well, there's Quad Burst to use as a filler skill. So yeah, like, you don't know how busted this skill is for farming. It is just amazing. It would seem that she doesn't have as many tools as other characters, but it's not only about the number of skills that you have, but also how effective they are. And Bulletstorm is insane. Now, solo content. Aina has a problem, and that's that she's not great at recovering her own HP. She has Drone Shooter, which casts a healing area. Like, you can only see the drone over here on the animation, but she casts a healing area. Healing areas are not the best way to heal your HP, but at least she has some form of healing. She has very decent damage on green and red. Blue, on the other hand, is lacking. And she doesn't have... Let me just check. Yeah. She has a couple buffs, but let's be honest, they are pretty bad for the most part. And having a buff for a ranged attacker, like the damage buff over here, on a ranged attacker, on a tackle to get near the enemy, Gremory, what were you thinking? Why? That's not synergistic at all. So yeah, she doesn't have buffs or debuffs. That's pretty bad. But she has good weapons. She has the same weapons as Yuki, so she has the HP recovery weapon if you require it. She has the butterfly cannon, which is very busted on her. She has the Momochi weapon, of course, and it can be abused with her, but I wouldn't say like she's like Rin or Nagi. And Tempest Hurricane, her best weapon right now. This weapon revolves around ulti spam. And when you use your ultimate, now you're able to cast drones. And these are going to allow you to reduce the cooldown of your skills and abuse them. Basically, she has two gameplay modes now. She can go like pure damage and just obliterate things with her raw damage and using your skills, transitioning like normal. Or you can build her specifically to charge particles and then ulti spam and use your skills non-stop, because you basically have 0 cooldown with if you do this ulti spam strategy. So yeah, she's good. But would I put her on outstanding? Let me think. Okay, I have to put her on great, unfortunately. Why? Why on great? She doesn't have aggressive buffs. She doesn't have aggressive debuffs. She can spam a lot of damage, but she cannot, like... She obliterates the enemy basically by ulti spamming right now. And her skills are just kind of average damaging skills that are good. But no buffs, no debuffs that matter. She has, of course, but nothing that really matters. And she doesn't have healing. If she had healing, I would maybe push her to outstanding. But I'm debating whether or not, because it's really bad that she doesn't have debuffs or buffs that are impactful. She's just a damage dealer. Well, for team content, okay, there's one thing to take into consideration. Was it this one? No, it's the weapon then. Her weapon. Each time a drone attacks, reduces the cooldown of one character skill by 0.3 seconds. It doesn't say Aina, it says one character. And you're gonna have a ton of drones. So this is a cooldown reduction for the party. That's pretty unique, I can tell you that. But you're forced to go with the particle charge strategy. As I already mentioned, she doesn't have significant debuffs, nor party-wide buffs. And talking about the weapon, she's a fine Momochi weapon user, but not busted on that department. So I'll just put her on average, even if she has a very unique niche in the cooldown reduction department. It is just not something abusable enough or busted enough, in my opinion. But what do you think about this particular character and its utility for the whole party? I mean, it's a selfish attacker, so it's to be expected. Saika, God, Saika. We're progressing very, very well, guys. Let's just finish this. So, Saika. Talking about farming. She has Hurricane Kick, she has Hit Kick, she has Gale Kick, she has Moon Assault. I'm not my favorite because of the jump, but okay. And Calamity Over. And a Spinning Kick. And Quake Stomp. Like, okay. Some of these skills are better than others. Quake Stomp, it is busted when you build it properly. Hurricane Kick is not that bad. The AoE is medium size, unfortunately, but it has the property to pull the enemy, so it compensates. Hit Kick stays in place. Well, technically it advances like a bit, but it is not like a great distance. A Spinning Kick has a medium size AoE, so it's kind of okay. Calamity Over is very good. No, she's definitely outstanding as a farmer. I cannot deny it. Because of the sheer variety and competent AoEs on her skills. Like, she doesn't have like a mini AoE that's not good. She has really good AoEs on those kicks. Now, let's check those weapons. Notable weapons. Aerial, which honestly it's outdated, unfortunately. Boost Griever, which is the best weapon for her. And she can use the Momochi weapon, but whatever. Like, it's not that important. Let's see. So she has healing, yes, on green over here, but that's the only color that has healing, unfortunately. No, blue. Blue also has healing. So two skills, two colors have healing. That's already significant. That's really good. Now, in terms of damage, this is the critical one. But she can go on any color because she can deal competent damage. Blue is always going to be a bit behind, but it's not atrocious. So you can use it. That's good. She has significant debuffs. Let me check. I think a couple. Like the defense reduction over here on green. The increased enemy critical damage taken over here. Reduce the enemy's damage. Not that great, but usable. The disarm. And this disarm applies buffs. Let's go to the buff section. So we have damage increase, critical rate, speed increase. We have over here increased damage by 20%, increases speed. The speed increase is not that impactful, but it's there. And yeah, she's really good. And did I mention that the passive is going to give you more damage? It's really, really good. And super armor on top of that, like she's amazing. Yeah, she's easily a meta over here. And okay, similar to Micah and other characters, she's gonna be evaluated as an attacker. She can go just like her, like Anna Rose. She can go with a purely supportive build, but it's not her main role. Meta or something? I think meta. Like the passives, the reworks have helped some characters tremendously. Like maybe I'm putting a lot of characters on meta, but it's because of the huge amount, the huge impact they have on a team. Like she has a plethora of effects that she can apply, both debuffs, buffs, and of course her main role, that is damage. She is one of the few characters who applies disarm, which is very valuable. And someone like Rin, which has very few effects, like she's just electrocute and speed reduction, is over here because those are the debuffs that really matter, and that's good enough. So yeah, let's see. Here we go. Let me drink some water. Okay, we can easily omit this part because obviously out of armor, meta. But what about single content and team content? She has HP recovery on any color. That's okay. She has defensive buffs and a couple damage buffs. Increased damage, increased defense, decreases enemy's defense. Unfortunately, we don't like those jumping attacks that much because they might get interrupted. Depends on the enemy, but it happens. This only deals damage, increases defense, damage, or reduces the speed of the enemy. Increases defense. Increases defense, increases damage, reduces the speed of the enemy. So she has some useful debuffs. But the thing is, let's see those synergies. This is a speed reduction on red. Speed reduction on red. Okay, good synergy. Defense increase. Defense reduction. And that's it. Increase defense. It doesn't have damage increase. The damage increase is on blue. Yeah, like she has a speed reduction on red. Like good synergies for that. But the other effects, while good, they are not synergistic. Like the defense reduction is on the green build, and the green build is the critical rate increase skill. So great. The one that deals damage is actually the blue one. So yeah, when the effects don't synergize properly, that's really bad. Talking about the weapons, she has really good weapons. Like Guardian Gear is my favorite. It's the one that I always use because it decreases the damage of the familiar just like that. But Silver Paladin is not bad. It's pretty good for defensive builds. And you can use the Momochi weapon, sure. So yeah. I cannot put her on average. Like, she's just great. Let me check. I'm comparing her to Su. Her healing isn't the best thing out there because it is a regen healing on top of anything. Like, but at least all the colors are gonna buff that region in some way. She has good debuffs, and she has a couple debuffs, but barely any synergies. Oh my god, don't tell me. No. Let's compare her to Ingrid. She doesn't have the insane damage of Ingrid, not her mobility, not her the debuffs. Oh my god. No, she falls on average. Okay. Nice. Yeah, due to a lack of synergy in her buffs and debuffs, mainly. Like I mentioned, green for the critical rate increase. Nice. Attack buff. I mean, the attack buff is very good because flurry. That's the actual skill that matters. And speed reduction. But like, then what? Like, it's this one and this one. But that's all it does. Reduce the speed and that's it. It's like, okay. No, I think maybe like this is scaring her. This particular buff is scaring her. Barely great. She gets carried by the blue buff. Like if I didn't saw that particular synergy, I would put her down, but increases damage by 20% on 10 seconds, and then you just flurry to deal a lot of damage. So yeah, barely you made it. Team content. Okay, so her role is going to be basically the debuffer on red to reduce the speed of the enemy, or tank on green or blue, depending on the supporters you have, usually blue. Let me think, guys. She wields the Momochi weapon. Does the Guardian weapon provide some form of defense down? The defense increase? No. You have this. You have this. Okay, that's bad. That's bad. I'll put her on average. Selfish. Bad synergies. Yeah, she goes in this spot for team content. Because you can easily substitute this for any other character, because she's basically a placeholder for your supporters that help out the team. With a bit of supportive capabilities on red and green, and that's it. Okay, yeah. Like, mainly she's just gonna be a tank to take the hits. Then, Eleanor. What's my problem with Eleanor? Her mid-range is my issue with her. Like, I would prefer that she was a range attacker, a full range attacker, but no, she cannot work like that. So she has a Stampede, which is competent, but the AoE is not like as big as it looks in the animation. In this particular animation. So yeah, Geyser Burst, this kind of the same. Why does her animation look like so huge over here? It is usable. Increase the size of the current by 25. Maybe because it's blue. I don't know. Maelstrom, good for farming. Acid Rain, good for farming, but similar to Sora's Shosu or Shosen. That's it kind of doesn't have enough damage. Reflective Rate, good for farming, and then the other skills that don't matter and don't help out farming. So she can farm on every color, that's already good. And then she has these two other skills. She's beyond average, she's great. Yeah, she's great. Like, she would be better if she wasn't forced to be kinda close to the enemy. That's her issue. You don't have a teleporter with her. You have to manually go towards the enemy. So yeah, she's she has some design flaws. Now, for challenging content, she technically has HP recovery with one weapon, but overall you're not gonna have HP recovery. That's bad. She has Treasure of the Deep Ocean, super great weapon. She has her unique debuff, Wet, which serves as a slow on stacks. She has Bell of the Divine Tree, that increases her damage. Your weapon with critical damage increase, that's good. And she has Guide of the Starry Sea, that ensnare enemies, also pretty good. She has decent damage on green, very good damage. She has also competent damage, not like busted as green, but good on Maelstrom. She has Reflective Rate. It doesn't deal as much damage, but it serves other purposes. You can abuse different supporters with this, and the synergy with the weapon, her package weapon, is very, very good. She has a very useful... where is it? Very useful buff in Echo Curtain that gives you immunity to range attacks and also increases damage on green, increases your speed on blue, and increases the range of the spheres by 50% on red. These are very bad skills for the most part. Like, they only serve... Like, they have uses, sure, but I don't like them. Like, they keep wet on red, sure. They allow you to keep your combo stack, sure, but that's about it. Aqua Splash, immediately after enemy attack. A counter, bad. And it doesn't do anything at all. Like, it's a rainbow skill. Increases skill damage, knock back the enemy, reduce the cooldown. That's bad, really bad. Like, these skills need a ton of rework. And these two, by the way, while their AoE are not like awful, and they have serviceable damage to some degree. It's low but serviceable. They don't have like impactful debuffs. They should apply wet on any color, but it doesn't. And this pulls the enemy, but that's about it. Like, the other effects don't really matter. So yeah. God, how did you get there? Let's see. Are you really suboptimal? Because you have a couple... No, wait. Barely. And mainly because of the damage multipliers on your weapons and skills. Yeah. Like, this is not obsolete. The synergy with the weapon is good. The pulling effects are not bad. She can use the Momochi weapon, Guide of the Star Sea, the critical weapon. I mean, at least you have some amount of damage. And being a ranged attacker gives you an edge. But since she's a mid-range attacker, that edge is not that significant. So yeah, she's not suboptimal, but she's barely average. Okay, okay. Now, on team content. So, issues. She only has 2 significant weapons. Because this also works for damage dealing, but you don't want her to be your main damage dealer for the most part. You want her to be a supporter, and for that, she has 2 weapons. 2 out of 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, she has 4 weapons, so half of her weapons are... technically she has also this. But she's not a multi-spammer, so 2 out of 5 weapons that are designed for her, you can use. She can use supporters like Keito, like Yusuriha, like, where is it? White Feather Asuka. Okay, she can use a ton of different supporters to do different strategies and provide benefit for the team. But Wet has historically been a very bad debuff, and it's her signature debuff. She doesn't apply defense down by herself, nor buff the party. She's barely average too. Like, she does have a couple niches, and that's her saving grace, basically. It is very bad. Poor Eleanor. I like that character, but she could improve. Oh, Heviko. That's another bad one. So, Heviko. Talking about her farming capabilities, Heviko has Windmill. Octopus Choke, not my favorite for farming, but it has a big AoE. I cannot deny that. Bad for farming, bad for farming. Single target, so it's bad for farming. Wacky, but usable on farming. I won't deny it. Bad for farming, bad for farming. Good for farming, fairly good. Kind of like on the same level as Micah's perfect dodge, but again, a perfect dodge. We don't like those, so they get like half the score they usually would. So as a farmer, she's average, honestly. Like, nothing out of this world. Like, the basics help out a bit on the other colors, honestly. And the fact that these 2 skills can be used on the other colors. So yeah, and that's bad. Talking about weapons. She has the same weapons as Sakura, so same notable weapons. The butterfly weapon, extremely good for her, by the way. Momochi weapon, whatever. The particle charge weapon, whatever. Increases critical damage against enemies. Okay, kind of usable. Your weapon with a critical passive is always gonna be good, no matter what. Like, those effects are kind of a spur, and they are very busted. And this one is fine. Not busted, but fine. Let's see. Okay. So she has HP recovery, but she has one of the worst ways of HP recovery in the form of Devil Link, which turns you invisible. And while you're invisible, you are gonna heal a bit, just like a small region. But you don't have to attack. If you attack, then Devil Link goes away, and that's awful. She has a variety of debuffs. Like, she has this constrict thing. It's actually a snare onto the enemy. She has, what is it? Where is it? Reduce the speed of the enemies that get hit by this. That's actually pretty good. And Yeah, that's all the debuff that she has. Okay. So she's not great at debuffs. She has a significant debuff on this particular skill. And over here, this is a bit more niche. You almost never use Ensnare, but it's useful when you need it. Really, really useful. So the debuffs are few, but not bad debuffs, the ones that she has. Now the buffs are not that great. Increases speed, increase damage. That one is fine, but it's a 10%. It's like a bit weak. Increase damage on a perfect dodge, okay. And that's about it. Like, she's lacking. This skill has a lot of damage and it's very good. The one glaring issue that this skill has, it's its AoE. It's very small. Like, she needs to puke more ink to the sides if she wants to be, if you want this skill to be busted. This is usable, but not my favorite. Like, those attack that long you in place are kind of dicey, you know. This one is fine. It deals enough damage. Man, with the weapon it gives you mobility. It's unfortunate that you have to use the weapon to have the mobility. But okay. Yeah, like... she's barely average. And that thanks to her gimmicky debuff over here. This one, I mean, it's generally good. You can use it always, and that's fine. She can deal competent damage if you have a good weapon. And because of the multiplier on this one, it's just the AoE is not helping her. So, yeah. And her lack of healing. Oof. I won't say she's suboptimal, but she's not like the most fun thing to play. Okay, team content. Her skills are a bit more valuable. Like the two skills that apply debuffs are a bit more valuable on team content. I can tell you that. Like they actually perform the right kind of debuffs. We would like a defense down, but nah, that's not what she does. Nah. Average at best. Like, she just offered not enough. She doesn't offer enough things. That's the thing. As simple as that. Then, Spinel. Okay, as a farmer, she has Demonic Arm Swing. Very good. She has Boulder Quake, very good. Explosive Rampage. It is not a teleporter, but it rushes you to the enemy, so that helps out. And the AoE can be very big depending on the build. Explosive Shard, no. Crystal Shard Burst, no. It is very slow to be considered a farming skill, even though it has like a decent AoE. Ruby Reflector, it's a counter, so no. This one can be used for farming, but preferably you go with the arm. Like, just having a good basic enhancer with huge AoE is already helping her tremendously. Similar to Aina that got carried with one single skill. She's gonna get carried to the great section. She's great for farming. I won't put her on outstanding, but like this skill does a lot for her. She has the mobility on top of that. No, over here, the mobility, the basic, and then your farming skill on green. Which is not the farming color, by the way, but okay. The farming color is blue. Okay, so yeah. Let's see. What else do you offer? In terms of solo content. So these two are her notable weapons. We also have the Photon Beam Saber, which is the anti-human weapon. She is going to provide constant attack buffs and speed buffs with her leader's heal. She has very serviceable damage. She buffs her speed tremendously on green. She buffs to an insane amount on blue. You definitely want to do that if at all possible. And she can deal decent damage, even though she doesn't have a multiplier. She has a hefty defense down on blue, so she can deal 2 hefty defense down on red, I mean. So she can just abuse that skill and deal tremendous damage. So yeah, the good thing about this character is that she has the right synergies. Green is a speed increase, red is defense reduction, blue is damage increase. Her colors are well defined, that's good. She lacks healing, that's bad. But did I mention she has a ton of damage, a ton of attacks? She's insane, she's outstanding. With healing, she would go to meta, but no, she doesn't have healing, so we'll keep her there. Now, team content. So, as you saw, she has a niche on red, okay, to help out the team. And now, fortunately, we have supporters that can increase the performance on the team on red. That's good. That's good. On top of that, she has, let's see, where is it? Where is it? Her role, that was what I was going to talk about. Her role is the role of a main damage dealer. So we have to evaluate her as such. As a main damage dealer, she's always gonna go on, no, she's always gonna go on blue. She's going to deal tremendous damage and super buff herself. She's pretty good at that. So, and let's not forget about this. This is going to increase the damage of your party and the speed. So it's outstanding. It is just better than Micah. So she's outstanding. Because she applies buffs, she deals damage, and she buffs the party. Like Micah doesn't buff the party. She applies the defense down, but she doesn't buff the party. So she goes over here. Fairly simple. Okay, you, Lina. In terms of farming, like they made a carbon copy of Spinel's basic attack, so yeah, that's already helping her for farming. Coral's sword dance is there, you can use it for farming, but it's kind of medium size and it has a long animation. Not my favorite. Storm Drive, very useful for farming because it pulls the enemy and it has a decent AoE. And then we have Cherry Blossom, Frenzy. Perfect dodge, but it's okay. The same can be said about Raging Tempest. It's usable on farming, but it's a counter. And Blinding Storm. She's outstanding. Like, she's on par with Rinko on farming. Now, good thing, just like Spinel, she knows what she wants to do on each color. Blue is a carbon copy of Spinel because it super buff herself and give her a ton of damage. So yeah, you just deal a ton of damage on blue. Red is the debuff color, just like Spinel. So yeah, you're still dealing a lot of damage. Green is not like the best color for her, but it's there. She can use her. She can use the Kahahirako. She doesn't need the healing because she has her own healing in Blinding Storm. That's pretty good. Blinding Storm has its flaws, but if you use it properly, you will heal. Let's see. She has like everything she needs. All of the weapons. Other notable weapons. It's basically the ultimate weapon, because this is just a worse version of this. It has penetration, but 2% less critical damage, so that's not great. So it's the ultimate weapon and the Wicked Star weapon that gives you anti-human. So yeah. On solo content, she's outstanding. As simple as that. Like, she has well-defined roles on her colors. That's good. Team content on the other hand. Okay, she's great. She doesn't have the damage to be the main damage dealer on green or red. She has great damage on blue, and if you want her to be the main damage dealer, she's gonna go blue. But she doesn't support the team on blue. If you want her to support the team, you'll use her on red. So that same advantage, her well-defined roles prevent her from being useful on most teams. Because she's either gonna be your main damage dealer and then she's very selfish, or she's gonna provide some debuffs while dealing some amount of damage, but her damage on green and red doesn't compare to the damage on blue. As simple as that. So she helps out the team, yeah, a bit, but she's not the main damage dealer on red. So yeah, it's that well-defined role, those well-defined role that she has, that prevent her from going higher on team content. That's kind of weird, but it is what it is. Like, if you go solo, you know what you're doing. But if you go on a team, you can't perform as well because you can only do one thing. Okay, Lapis. Okay, Lapis. Farming capabilities. There are some farming capabilities, sure. Spear Gem Shower is not great for farming because it focuses on one point. Spear Barrage can be used for farming, sure. And if you have like insane damage, you can eliminate the enemies quickly. Okay. Moral Boost, useful for farming on red. Skydive, useful for farming on red. But that's about it. I'm thinking. No, she's not on par with the Spinel for farming, nor with Chizuru, so she goes on average. As simple as that. Like, unfortunately, she's not designed for that, so obviously she's not gonna perform well. In terms of weapon, she has the same weapons as Shiranui, so the Vajra Scepter for the anti-demon, the let's see, Scepter of Mastima for generic damage, Gloom of Worshipper for abusing Spear Barrage, and the Momochi weapon. Like, even though she's not a great Momochi weapon user, she usually uses this weapon because she always goes with a supportive role, or in most cases she goes with a supportive role. In solo content, she can deal devastating damage on red with these two skills. She doesn't buff herself or reduce the defense of the enemy. Like, her debuffs are not that great. As you can see, like, we have reduced the damage of the enemy on red. Decrease delay HP, no. Reduce enemy damage by 10%, like another defense down. And that's it. So yeah, she's not going to deal damage for the enemy. Debuffs onto the enemy, not damage, debuffs. I'm a bit sleepy. She doesn't have great buffs. She has a couple buffs, like increase damage by 20%, but you have to crystallize yourself. That's always been tricky. Like, this skill can be used effectively to recover HP, defend yourself, and, well, at the same time it also exposes exposes you, so be careful with this skill. Increase the defense on blue, increase damage on green, then this increases damage on green, defense on blue. This recovers HP, this deals damage. This recovers HP, or deals 2 more hits on green. This you never use, and this you never use. And this one, kind of wacky. Solo content. Average. That's kind of bad. Like, she's very similar to other characters. This is not her role. That's why she's so low over here. Like, she can be devastating on red, but she takes a while to clear content unless you build her extremely aggressive. She doesn't apply significant debuffs, and while she has some buffs, they are not gonna make her like super busted. Like, the green buff is nice, but it's only one buff. Yeah. Now, on the other hand, we have team content. I mean, what did you expect? I have been saying she's not designed for those other two tier lists, so obviously she's designed for supporting the team. She's the best healer in the game. She doesn't rely on a debuff to heal. That's pretty good. She basically her main gimmick is healing. She's going to buff the attack of the party. It's only one buff. She also buffs the defense of the enemy. But that's it. That's the only issue. Like, she's extremely busted only because of her healing role. She's gonna be a placeholder for the supporters, and as I mentioned, she abuses Shikigiri to provide benefit for the party. Unfortunately, her other weapons don't apply like buffs. I mean, technically there are some weapons that I have been omitting, like this one, but it is not that important. This weapon is not that great. So anyways, let us continue. Like, should I put her on? I mean, her supportive role, it's... No, I think I'm gonna drop her. Like, she's extremely good as a healer. But what's the issue? She doesn't provide that much other than that. The attack buff, the defense buff, and that's it. That's all she does. She needs more buffs for the party by herself, or debuffs to the enemy that matter. That's the keyword. Like, giving me the critical rate up is not that impactful. Or giving me the Hellfire debuff for the enemy, it's kind of okay. So yeah, just give her the good debuffs and buffs. That's what she needs. Phantasma. Let's just finish with that quickly. Yeah, that was easy, guys. That was really easy. Phantasma is one of the best characters in the game. As simple as that. Her passive is busted. She has great farming capabilities with Succubus Whisper and Clinging Nightmare. Clinging Nightmare, since it has the critical rate effect, it means that it's always going to be effective no matter what build you use, so you can mismatch, no problem. And well, that's all she needs. That's all she needs. Technically, she has Dream Shade, Shadow, Slasher Horror, and Dream Shadow for farming too, which you can use. Like, those are not the most impactful ones. The most impactful ones are these two, and that's it. So yeah, but it's good that she has Pillar for farming. Yeah, the big AoE, multi-hit, and tracking capabilities are just insane. And the fact that you can use a pure color skill, even though it mismatches, similar to Astaroth, is just busted. Now, solo content. She has healing on red. Unfortunately, that's the only color that has healing. That's bad. Normally, when you start to build her, she's kind of frail. But as you progress and you put good supporters, she can become quite chunky. So, depending on how you build her, she can be a glass cannon or a fairly tanky character. She applies extremely aggressive speed reductions on blue while dealing tremendous damage. She has a decoy, which can attract the attention of the enemy while you attack them from afar. She has very good survivability on red. Did I mention that? Green is kind of the weak link in challenging content. But the ability to just use Clinging Nightmare and then go far away while it deals damage is fairly good. And you just use Phantasmal Mirror along with Succubus Whisper and Clinging Nightmare, and then the enemies doesn't hit you. So you see why she's busted. And then I mentioned that Succubus Whisper gives you an attack up while you're on that area for you and your partner. So that's really, really good. She has buffs, debuffs, damage, HP recovery, great leader skill. Like you see why I could do that just like that, like not checking the character and knowing where she goes. Did I mention the weapons? For the weapons, she has a pulling weapon, which is a useful effect depending on context. It only works on Clinging Nightmare, but that's the skill that wants the pulling effect. And we also have the Momochi weapon, which she's a great Momochi weapon user because of the multi-hit on her skills. So yeah, that's great. Oh yeah, and of course, Falling Heart. Don't forget about Falling Heart to abuse Nightmare, which this applies a defense down when you have all the stacks of Nightmare on top of the other defense downs that you have with the leader skill. So yeah, busted. Oops. Okay. So this character, let's check her farming capabilities. Francis. Grenade, Hard Catch, Wailing Whip. Let's see, Wailing Whip. Kind of weak because of the speed, so I won't consider them as a good farming skill. And Raging Shooting. Basically, those are the skills that we use for farming. She's average for farming, honestly, because of her speed. Like, there's one gimmick that she can use for farming, the Berserk gimmick, but without the right weapon, it is a gimmick, not something reliable. So at least she's average on farming. Now, solo content. She has one color that provides HP recovery. Technically, she has generic HP recovery as long as you apply Tipsy, but only one skill applies Tipsy. And that's where the problem starts. It is the follow-up attack, but you're forced to use this weapon to apply Tipsy on every skill. So you have to use a skill that exposes you. And it takes a while to perform the animation. Like, it is not like super long, but it gives you an opening. It gives the enemy an opening, so that's bad. And if you don't use that, you don't have healing. Now, talking about buffs and debuffs. Increase speed, increase defense on a counter. But this deals decent damage. It's not a bad counter. It's one of the best counters out there. So, increases damage on green, increases speed on blue, gives super armor on red. Increases speed on green, gives super armor on red. Increases damage on green. Pulls enemies. Increases damage. Yeah, like, the buffs are like not synergistic. She doesn't have significant debuffs. She doesn't have healing. So, like, you know, the issues with the healing are so big that she goes to suboptimal. Normally she would go to average, but one color has HP recovery and everything else has to rely on Tipsy / Onigorochi. So yeah, they'll probably fix this character, and when they do, probably this character will be good. But before that, I recommend avoiding this one, unless you get a copy of the weapon. I'm talking about solo content, the team content. It doesn't provide anything for team content. Not at all. Like, you saw it. Did you see debuffs? I didn't see debuffs. I don't remember seeing debuffs. No debuff, 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 no debuffs. So no, she's just bad for team content. No healing, no boost for the party, no, not anything. Okay. So this one is similar to Asagi. She's a single target character. She can use her skills for farming, sure. Mainly Smoke Fan, and Smoke Cloud. Those are the two skills that you can use for farming. I mean, Shattering Blow and Thunderclap are there, but they are single target skills. So no. So she's suboptimal for farming because, she, as I mentioned, she focuses on single target damage. So yeah, but that doesn't mean she's a bad character. Just by existence, she's able to use buffs and debuffs. She's technically a stack character, similar to Kara, but she arrived before the stack gauges, so they give her instead buffs and debuffs, which are actually very good. I prefer her to do that niche with the buffs and debuffs. It provides various advantages, and I hope they don't change it because they would remove the synergy she has with her own blue supporter. Just something to take note of, Gremory. It wouldn't make sense to remove those buffs, debuffs that she applies. So she is one of the characters that can apply Disarm, and this rainbow skill, it's pretty good. So worth using. Power Release gives you super armor and a buff, really impactful. She has healing on blue, like a very decent healing. And she also has healing on any color as long as you use Restoration Smoke. It's not the best healing because you get like 1% of your max HP per hit. She's a fast attacker, good enough, so that helps out, but still not the best healing. At least it's a generic healing nonetheless. She applies debuffs on her basic and increases her speed increase with the basic enhancer. She has decent buffs, damage increase, speed increase, an additional attack on red. She deals decent damage, a defense down over here, remember that. Insane damage over here. Good buff, good debuff. So yeah, she's good on solo content. And did I mention that she has a busted SR weapon? A critical SR weapon? And a very fun weapon. These weapons are very good for her. All of them are very good. So, outstanding? No, she's just great. Unfortunately, she just goes on great. Why? Because of her healing being 1% per hit. If her healing was a bit better, she would easily go to outstanding. Like, she has a bit of everything. Mainly buffs for herself in the form of the attack buffs on green. And the how easy it is to build her with the critical weapon helps out on that score. But yeah, the healing department can be tricky at times with this character, and she's kinda frail, not super frail, but she exposes herself a lot. Fortunately, she has the ability to have super armor on demand, so that's something. Team content. Okay. So let me highlight a couple skills. Drifter Illusion that gives the defense down and disarm the enemy. Thunderclap that applies another defense down. Smoke Cloud that is going to apply Fortitude onto the team, avoiding damage. And Restoration Smoke that not only affects you but also your teammates. The AoE of this skill is not like super big, but it is there. And not to mention that she applies debuffs on demand, so that's also pretty good. Outstanding? No, just great. Just great. Like, she's not busted enough to go to outstanding, but she provides a bunch of different things for the team. Like, she's not a selfish attacker. On green she is, but on the other color she helps out the team, so that's good. Azusa. So, talking about farming, Azusa has Shindara, which is a very good skill on farming, Gale Slash, and Dragonfly Dance. Those are very good skills for farming. But those are all she has for farming, if I'm not mistaken. So she doesn't farm on every color, and she's kind of slow at farming. Let me think. No, she goes on average for farming. In my opinion, like, she's not fast enough. Even though she has insane damage. That's the good thing about her. She clears the wave on one hit, but you have to wait for the cooldown of the skills. Let's see. Solo content. Okay, here with Azusa we have once again a character who is very selfish and doesn't provide value for the team. Fortunately, she does have good buffs and debuffs. Speed reduction, damage increase on Gale Slash. Shindara has the damage multiplier. This one has the damage multiplier. Bodyguard increases defense and increases damage on red. Not bad, not bad. Along with super armor, that's good. Increases defense, reduces the enemy's speed, increases damage. So red is going to increase damage, blue is going to reduce the speed of the enemy. Green increases her defense for whatever reason. Like, what's the meaning of that, Remory? Explain to me. Especially since Green doesn't have like many supports that do that. Speed reduction, HP recovery on green, HP recovery on any color, and HP recovery on blue. Fortunately, she does have HP recovery. It's not the best. It doesn't... technically, it's the best, according to who you ask, because it's percentage on max HP. So yeah, that's kind of what people like. I prefer the healing on damage, but okay. So similar to Lina, she has well-defined roles for every color, which makes her good on solo content, but not that great on standard content. It's basically the same, on not standard content, on team content, because she is going to do one thing, and that's all she can do for that color. And you cannot be like extremely creative. She's supposed to be the damage dealer, but at the same time, she doesn't have the most damage capability out there. She has a decent damage capability, but her attack won't compare to someone like Micah. So yeah, even though she wants to be the main damage dealer, she is not great at doing that on a team. Like, I mean, compared to other attackers. Water. Oh god. So yeah, like, she's a bit lucky. She has decent damage, but pushing it to the very limit, it's kind of hard for her on team content. Like, you expect a bit more on team content, especially because she has a big AoE. Usually, like, single target attacks are gonna be more deal more damage, like Natsu's green skill. So yeah, Ragnarok. Let's see. For let's just go back for the weapons because I didn't mention them. Same as. Oh, wait 1 second. I almost forgot this, but one weapon shouldn't change my evaluation for her. Like, Yeah, yeah. She was used as a meta option because of the busted buff on Nanashi. But let's be real, that's the only thing that is going to provide utility for the team. So it doesn't change that much how she works. She used to be used on blue against Edwin, and mostly like a placeholder for the supporters, with the benefit of having the weapon buff for the party. So yeah, like that doesn't change my evaluation of her too much because by herself, without taking into consideration those supporters, she doesn't do that much other than providing now one buff. Like on blue, yeah, speed reduction. If you can apply a speed reduction. And on the other colors, it's just damage dealer. Or tank on green if you want it. Yeah. So Ragnarok. Is she a good farmer? And she's competent for farming. I cannot deny that. She has snowstorm, frost gale, and cold tempest, along with icicle snow. I mean, perfect dodge, but whatever. Frost wind also good. Absolute zero also good. So yeah, meta. No, outstanding for farming. As simple as that. Everywhere else, she's meta. Like I don't even have to think about it. So she doesn't have like a plethora of debuffs, but she abuses the one busted debuff that she offers, and that's freeze. Like all of her skills have multi-hit and the ability to, not all of them, but most of her skills have the ability to apply freeze and also have multi-hit. So you're gonna keep freezing the enemies and increasing the damage of the party. That's very impactful. She has very decent damage. Reduce the speed of the enemy on blue. Reduce the speed of the enemy on blue. Yeah. Reduce the speed of the enemy on blue. So she can be a speed debuffer on top of that. She increases her speed on green, and she increases her damage on green. So not only that, she has well-defined roles on each color, which is also pretty good. She has great weapons, same as Ingrid. Blue lightsaber, candy saber, the Momochi weapon, Leviathan, and Hajime. Her ultimate weapon, which I don't have, it's also pretty good. So yeah. Yeah, as simple as that. Need I say more? Like, obviously she's gonna be meta. Just not on farming. Okay. I mean, Azeroth 2.0, of course, is gonna be a meta farmer. Mirabelle, just you use the basic enhancer and you spam that along with spreadshot and farm's over. We have other skills that we can use for farming, but we don't need to say anymore. Like, just push one button and that's it. Keep pressing that attack button. Now. Solo content. She has healing on green with Blitzkrieg. Sure, it's there. She struggles with healing on other colors, but there's one thing. Few characters have the ability to cast some kind of summon to taunt the enemy. Mirabelle is one of those. Mirabelle has the ability to summon the bones, XPS 11A bone, and those are going to keep the enemies occupied while you attack. So even if she don't have healing on the other colors, she can just keep dealing damage because she's not gonna get hit. That's very good. Spreadshot is a very good skill because it applies a defense down and it has decent range. This has insane damage, this has decent damage. This is not that great. It exposes you. While you have the armor, you have a ton of super armor, you're basically going to finish your actions, but at the same time you expose yourself. That it doesn't come with damage reduction. It should. So this is like the worst skill she has, because you get near the enemy. Turret is there. It doesn't do anything significant, honestly. Like, it doesn't apply debuffs or buffs. It's just another summon that's mainly focused on dealing damage rather than distracting the enemy. This one is good, and Riot Tackle is also good. It decreases the enemy's defense. This one also increases the enemy's defense on blue. And this one, yeah. Like, the main value of this is just summoning the bone. Command Scramble. Immediately after attack, taking a hit. Yeah. You summon another bone that charges and counters. Yeah, not that impactful overall. Like, there are a couple deadweight skills over here. Like, you don't use them. But she has defense down, which is impactful on blue. She doesn't have, like, buffs for herself. Or, well, the attack buff on red. But we don't like red. As I mentioned, it exposes you too much. But the damage multiplier with this is just insane. So you can just use it and destroy anyone. And the ability to, when equipped with 3 suppress, increase. What's this? Put in an exoskeleton, allowing her to use the following skills. Yeah, the skills depend on the build that you have. So yeah, sure. So the exoskeleton is fine because you summon two bones, and when you finish using the exoskeleton, you actually do the ulti damage, so that's good. So yeah, for solo content, I would say outstanding. Not meta. She lacks the generic healing to be meta. Just outstanding. Similar to Astaroth, like she has a mobility, but on top of that, she has good debuffs, insane damage on green, healing on green, and competent healing like Astaroth. And the bones that are gonna distract the enemy. That's really, really impactful. On team content. Okay, yeah, I didn't mention the weapons, but let me elaborate on the weapons. This breaks super armor. Not the best weapon because the animation is very long, but it is there. She has an anti-human weapon, a Heimdall, which is basically another form of the Momochi weapon, which means that you can use another person with a Momochi weapon, so that's good. Basically, all her weapons, well, these 3 weapons are gonna be very impactful for team content, which is good. She has defense down on blue if you want to build her supportive, and if you want to build her offensive, she goes green. Unfortunately, red is kind of dead as a build, but at least she has well-defined roles as an attacker or supporter. No, I'm not gonna put her on meta, but she's definitely outstanding for team content. Okay, the character with the highest DPS in the game. Is she good? Well, let's find out. For farming. No good for farming. No good for farming. Let's see. Usable for farming, but like Dragon Strike, it is kind of a single target skill with a medium-sized AoE. No. No. Useful for farming, yes. Technically I should, but it's not. Depends on the combo chain, but that's also... Okay, let's say that it's useful for farming. 2 skills that are useful for farming, 3 skills. But this one is pretty slow, and that can be bad depending on what stage you're farming. So for farming, she's gonna go to average. Like, I use her for farming, but farming challenging stages, not the standard ones. So yeah. Now, for solo content. She has healing in green, but that's about it. She doesn't have healing on other colors. What does green offer? HP recovery, and this one, like just spamming your skill so that you can use the extra damage of the sand clone. Defense reduction, a hefty defense reduction, but then the animation is kind of long, so technically you want to go with Binding Barrage and then Golden Crusher Staff technically, but it's not always that good. Like, it doesn't have the damage. Increase defense, increase the movement speed reduction of the enemy, and reduces their defense by 30%. Nice! Same percentage. Yeah, so basically you use Quicksand because it's the best one, and then Golden Crusher Staff. Maybe then Blinding Barrage. And then you spam it. Like, you just transition between these three. Or if you want healing, you use this. So that's green. Red. Increases skill damage, deals damage, and increases damage by 10% on 7 seconds. Increases skill damage, increases damage. Okay. Again, 10%. Nice. On 5 seconds. Increases explosive area, increases the area, increases damage by 20% for 7 seconds. Yeah, but it's kind of a single target build, unfortunately. Blue has insane damage, decreases the defense of the enemy by 30% for 3 seconds, but you can constantly keep this attack up. Increases speed, ensnare the enemy. Okay, utility. Reduce the speed of the enemy, make the enemy groggy, increases the duration of the sandpit, stuns. So, what's the issue with this character? The lack of synergies. You saw all the wide variety of effects that she has, but like, she doesn't focus on doing one thing. She's calling her a jack of all trades is like not accurate. She just has a bunch of different effects stumbled together to do a bit of everything, but nothing effectively. Not even what she's supposed to do with all of those synergies. I don't know. Like, she doesn't know what to do with all of this. Even if you can build synergies, they don't feel strong enough. I have tested that. It is the issue with her. Like, the only good thing about her is be like cloud, be like water, and it's so busted that it's abused on by everyone. Like, everyone who has this character is gonna be using this skill. Talking about the weapons, she has the Momochi weapon. The Momochi weapon is not bad for her, it's pretty good. She has an anti-demon weapon. She has the Absolver, the ultimate weapon, which has damage increase and damage reduction against the bosses, and removes buffs from the enemies. That's good. And the the decisive weapon, which enhances Be Like Water, Be Like Cloud, and increases damage of skills. I mean, pretty decent weapons, pretty good weapons, but the synergies over here are not helping her out. She's not a glass cannon, but not tanky either. She's kind of frail. So she goes to average. Because she doesn't know what to do with all that she has. That's the thing. Like, as I mentioned, she kind of does the damage build on red, but it's not big AoEs. It's just gonna hit one single enemy with a lot of damage, and then will the rest of the wave. That's kind of fun. Then green, you reduce the defense of the enemy and have HP recovery, but you don't heal like a truck because this skill is pretty weak. And then you have the skill that hits like a truck, but you don't have significant buffs or debuffs. Maybe the speed reduction, but like, you don't care about speed reduction with this skill. You see the problem? That's the issue with her. And talking about team content, average or suboptimal? Let's see, because she has this, but either you pilot it or she's gonna release the skill. That's the issue. She has the okay. Let me just. She barely has synergies on blue for debuffing, and then she has the green defense down and a speed reduction with Ant Lion Pit. Okay, she's great, and that's a kind of a stretch, but I mean, she has enough synergies to just support the team. They don't like align for a single objective. They just provide a variety of useful effects for the team that work to some degree. But it's not like Asusa that everything is designed to apply speed reduction on blue. No, she ensnares. Where is the ensnare? She ensnares. She reduces the defense of the reduce the speed of the enemy. She reduces the speed of the enemy. She reduces the defense of the enemy. A bit of everything, depending on what you want. But only blue, and then green has the hefty defense down. That is very impactful, but that's all she has to offer on that color. And then there's the weapon that removes buffs. That's a very significant effect when you need it, which is kind of niche. So great is fine, but it's kind of a stretch. I'll admit. Kara. Like lately, on this section, on this specific part, the devs were doing some wacky stuff with the characters. After a very good run, they decided to do weird stuff. So, does she have anything? Like, let's see. Not great for farming. Great for farming. Well, useful. I won't say great. The AoE is kind of not as big, and the enemies have to be near you. Usable on farming. Not that great for farming, even though the AoE should make her great. Counter, awful. Usable for farming, not great, but usable. Yeah, and the basics. She doesn't like to farm, I can tell you that. Okay. Does she have buffs or debuffs? Increase damage and increase speed. Increase critical rate, increase critical damage. Okay, at least that's something. And then you apply the blood. That the blood is going to increase the damage of some skills, just so that you know. Then this doesn't do anything other than provide blood. This increases damage on blue. Increases damage. Okay, two good synergies. This has the damage multiplier and then the critical damage multiplier. Okay. What you see the issue here? She has few buffs and no debuffs for the enemy. That really reduces her effectiveness. Even though she has a high stat attack, she doesn't feel as busted as she should. I'll just put her on average. Like, her attack should put her on a higher tier. But she just has like 1 or 2 buff for each color. Sorry, for 2 colors. That's kind of it. No debuffs? No anything at all? Talking about the weapons, she has the same weapons as Astaroth. So she can use the hexagram. She can use the Holy Knight weapon because she cannot use the Wicked one. She can use the Momochi weapon. And then she has her Hexa round. and the package weapon and this one. Yeah, the package weapon is noticeable because it helps the party, but yeah, she doesn't offer anything good. That's the thing. And let's not talk about team content. She's just a damage dealer, and I just mentioned that she, for the high stat that she has, she doesn't feel busted at all. Like, she barely feels as if she deals competent damage for how glass cannony she is. Like, that's another thing. She's very, very frail. Now, let's go with Maika, Kamimura, Asuma, Kamimura Asuma. So, farming capabilities. Let's see that basic enhancer. No, it doesn't. Palong, pretty good for farming. Bifang, not good for farming. Tuofei good for farming. Not good for farming. Good for farming. Not usable for farming. The follow-up attack is not bad for farming. It's pretty good. The AoE is medium size, so it's very good because it's fast. This one is not great for farming. This one is usable on farming. If I'm not mistaken, it does like a cone. So yeah. So for farming, would I say outstanding? The AoEs help out tremendously. I cannot deny that. Like these two AoEs are, no, these three AoEs are very good. And then the follow-up attack. Okay, I guess she's outstanding. Let me explain. Like, I was about to put her on great, but she has the two pure color skills. Then you use the follow-up attack. And then you use Palong. And then you repeat. After Palong, you do again the follow-up attack. And then you repeat. So she's always attacking and dealing with big waves of enemies. So, yeah, she's great for farming. Oh no, but this is not farming. This is team content. She's great for farming. Solo content. She lacks HP recovery. That's one thing to take into consideration. She does have HP recovery on one color, on blue. And for what we know, she's going to have HP recovery with 2 of A on blue with the decisive weapon. That's good. Let's see. Talking about weapons, she has a good amount of multi-hit, but she isn't abusing the Momochi weapon. Increases damage and against enemies with electrocute, and you can apply electrocute with the active. That's very self-sufficient, very good. The onslaught is very busted, but I mean, she's kind of new, so obviously she doesn't have that many weapons. She has more damage against enemies with burn or electrocute. That's really good. She can apply both debuffs, which electrocute is a kind of defense down. That's good. And on top of that, she has the ability to apply. Where is it? No debuffs other than those. She has, on the other hand, buffs. She has this 30% buff, which is amazing. But Bifang is not that great for damage dealing. She has speed increase, which is useful for her, but this skill, Purple Haze, is kind of not that impactful because it focuses on providing fortitude for her. She needs healing, not avoiding the damage. Then defense increase on blue, speed increase on red. Like you see the theme. She has a speed increase on red. Increase defense on red. Increases speed on blue. So she has buffs. Nice. But for the most part, they don't synergize. They're just like putting some buffs on her to do stuff and that's it. As filler. The things that do feel synergizing are her electrocute effects on the skills and the set effects, and the burn effects, as well as the damage multipliers. Those feel okay. But all the buffs for her don't feel like they synergize well, if you notice. Like the only one that is nice or busted is this one, but it doesn't synergize with the fan because it's just so weak. It just tries to compensate for how weak it is, basically. So yeah. The thing is, she has great damage. And she just abuses her elemental debuffs so well. I want to put her on outstanding. I mean, damage when she is outstanding. I cannot deny how good she is for damage healing. Even with the lack of HP recovery, like they are about to compensate that on another color, which helps her out. She would be meta if her buffs went to some direction. Like the only ones that go somewhere are the red ones, and it's speed increase, which is not the most busted thing out there. It's definitely helping out Fire God Huoshu, but it's like okay at best. So yeah, I'm talking about team content. So again, her main role is damage dealing. It's very competent at that, at the same level as Micah. On top of that, she provides debuffs, the 2 elemental debuffs, but she doesn't do anything else. Let me check. Like, is she on the level of Ingrid or on the level of Micah? She has more damage than Ingrid. She provides that pseudo defense down. Okay, she goes on great. Because of Electrocute's properties, basically. That carries her to this position. Okay. You. White. Creamery decided to make a character with a revive, which is a good idea. But they didn't know how a revive works, and they made this. So, yeah. For farming, she has Purple Cannon. She has Yaksha's Judgment, though it's a bit slow, but the AoE compensates, and the damage. And Hammerfall, this is not good for farming. So we have these two. We have Quake, medium to big AoE, but a jumping animation. That doesn't convince me. Very slow. No. Miasma. Okay, Miasma is good for farming, but it's a counter. Poison Golem. No, not good for farming. Vortex of Death, good for farming. AoE in front. AoE in front. Big AoE. Yeah. Her AoEs allow her to go to average. Like, she's not atrocious for farming, but she's a slow character like Murasaki. So it makes sense that they are together on this tier. Let's see. For Poisonous Golem. Solo content. So again, she doesn't have that many weapons to begin with. The ultimate weapon is very significant because it recovers her HP. Let me just show you very quickly. Collection. Over here. And we put white. So, her ultimate weapon restores 2% of max HP whenever killing an enemy. Unfortunately, that means that if you're fighting a single boss, you're not going to recover HP, but well, it is the thing. When an enemy is killed, damage increases by 2%. That's also good, but again, you need mobs on those stages. So yeah, she's not a great Momochi weapon user, but she can equip it. And this weapon, the ambitious one, revives her again. And that's good, considering how frail she is. And that's a bad thing. She's extremely frail, too frail. She should get more super armor. So she's prone to dying and activating her leader skill to revive and gain buffs, but at the same time, that's bad. Let's see what she provides in form of buffs and debuffs. Reduce damage of the enemy that got hit, reduce defense, increase damage. Nothing at all, other than the constant damage. Has a healing skill, that is a perfect dodge, it's a healing area, okay. Reduce the speed of the enemy, increase the duration of the golem, increases damage. So red is increasing damage, that's good. But see, why did they do the same as Murasaki? It has exactly the same flaw. Both of these characters are slow, and both of these on red mash their weapon in front of them, which is not that great. At least it deals decent damage, but it's not the most busted one. The busted one is the green one. Vortex decreases the defense of the enemy. So yeah, she synergizes on red to provide hefty attack buffs, which is good. But she exposes herself too much. That's an issue. She ensnares the enemies, deals okay damage on blue, and reduces the defense of the enemy with a ton of skills. That's great. She has a hefty speed reduction on green, insane damage on green, and yeah, that's about it. So she's not bad in the damage department. Okay, let me check. I think I just put her on great for solo content. The issue is she's too frail. She barely makes it to great because of the damage she provides. But she's too frail. It can just fail if you don't have enough damage reduction, which is unfortunate. She needs more damage reduction or ways to control her own HP so that she can just die on demand and survive when she needs to. So yeah, and that's the thing. And in the case of team content, okay, her blue build is gonna provide a ton of value because it has so many defense down, and on top of that it has there, and on any color she can provide healing, healing over here with a healing area. And green has a speed reduction. Okay. So the speed reduction is not that bad. And she can work as a main damage dealer or supporter on blue. Okay. I'll put her on great for team content. Again, she has that big flaw of being extremely frail, but okay, she has utility. Let's just forgo that flaw for now. Okay. The gimmicky character, Mari. Everyone was expecting this one. Is she good for farming? Well, let's see. Okay, these two skills are not that great because there are straight lines. And the jumping animation is not that great. But can be used for farming nonetheless. This one is great for farming. Not that great for farming. I mean, it's good for transitioning on small stages, but not always you're gonna fight on a small stage. Useful for farming, but it's a perfect dodge. Straight line, not that great. Wind Sphere is good for farming, though the enemies have to be near you. So yeah, she's... Let's see the cooldown, 14 seconds. These skills carry her like hard, but let's just say average for farming, okay? I was about to put her on suboptimal, but with two good skills for farming and the ability to actually use the other two as well. Like, they are not good, but they are not atrocious. So, yeah, she's average on the farming department. Now, solo content. Does she have healing? Yes, she does, on green. Does she have healing on another color? Yes, she does, on blue. So that's already very good. Now, she has the ability to apply different debuffs. Electrocute, freeze, burn, like she has so many debuffs. She has defense down on red, she has, where is it? She has another defense down on red. Red has the critical damage multiplier, the critical rate multiplier, which is unfortunate, but it deals decent damage because of the freezing aspect of the skill. Then this one, honestly, that's weird because this one feels like the weakest one, even though it has a damage multiplier. And you have damage increase. You honestly, if you want to make this kinda useful, you definitely want to use these two buffs to increase your damage. And this one feels insane. The natural damage it deals is tremendous. Like, basically she abuses elements. It is kind of wacky, but you can do some really good things with her. She's outstanding. Just not easy to use. I'm gonna leave it at that. She's not easy to use because you have to do the proper synergies. You can check my video on her if you want to know more about that. Then, I mean, the wide variety of effect that she provides is extremely valuable. I can't deny that. As I mentioned, the elemental debuffs, sure. Also the defense downs on red and the snare on blue while dealing decent damage. So she's outstanding, as simple as that. Not to mention that she provides buffs for the party by releasing items. And she has a speed reduction weapon. And actually, Natsu also has a speed reduction weapon, I think. Yeah, she has a speed reduction weapon. Those are niche, but good. Lastly, finally, Clone Yukikaze. Clone Yukikaze is a very good character. Talking about farming, let's start with her skills. The basic help out with farming, the basic enhancer, because they become AoE, though they are straight lines and very thin straight lines at that. Mjolnir Impact is good for farming, as long as you lure the enemies. Frenzy is not that great for farming. You have to lure the enemies and wait for them to be all together. Mjolnir just have to be on a straight line at least. This one is good for farming. You can use it with 2 or 3 blue supporters depending on context to optimize your farming for whatever you want. For a wide AoE or a straight line, like it's really, really good. This one is also good for farming. Akatsuki is good for farming. This one is so key for farming. Not the best because of it's not as fast as other skill, but it's good. It has a big AoE. Lightning Walls, good for farming. So she's outstanding for farming. As simple as that. The sheer variety of effects and her huge damage help out tremendously. For solo content, she barely has HP recovery. Like, let's see. It's on camouflage. She only has HP recovery on camouflage, which makes her really weak. But at the same time, she has so much damage that she can eliminate the enemies before she dies. Though she's frail, you really need good cure for that. Talking about Gator, she has a critical weapon, which is very, very good. And if I'm not mistaken, her ultimate weapon, collection weapon, her ultimate weapon provides HP recovery. Upon using a skill, recovers 3% of lost HP. And damage still increases by 10. Yeah, like that's That's good. That's very useful. I mean, considering she doesn't have any form of HP recovery, so at least that's something. Oh, wait, no, that's right. I forgot. She has HP recovery on red with this skill, which is good. Really, really good. As I mentioned, she also has generic HP recovery, but it's not the greatest. In terms of debuffs, she has good debuffs, but not for all colors. Like defense reduction on green, critical resistance reduction on blue, but it's not like as impactful. Decrease the critical resistance, decrease the defense of the enemy on green, very good, but this is better. Decrease the critical resistance again, and decrease the defense of the enemy. Like green is probably the best for debuffs. Because it's all defensive debuffs. Then, what else? She has buffs. Let's see those buffs. Increases speed, and that's it. Her buffs are not that great, but considering her busted leader skill, she doesn't really need them. She has a ton of damage on every build. This one exposes her too much, and this skill, Akatsuki, also exposes her too much. I do not recommend those, but she's fairly good. She's outstanding. I won't say meta, because she's frail, and she doesn't have like good sustain for all the colors, only on red. The other sustain is bad. Okay, she's gonna be the main damage dealer. No debate about that, similar to Micah. But on her good build, green, the one that deals damage, she has extremely aggressive defense down. So she's outstanding. And I mean extremely aggressive. But if she was on other builds, what would she offer for the team? Okay, she also has the speed reduction over here on green. Well, but that's green. Yeah, the critical rate, in case you need that, it's not like the most useful thing out there, but if you want to enhance your crits, you can use her as a supporter for crits. So yeah, definitely, she has two colors that she can use to help out the team, blue and green. So yeah, and I mean, she performed well as an attacker. So yeah, this is kind of the tier list, guys. What do you think about this? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you think I was like very picky with some of these evaluations? Let me know in the comments. Let me know in the comments what changes you would make, which characters you would like to raise, which characters you would like to drop a bit. If I omitted something on the evaluation, let me know. But anyways, that's about it. I hope you find it useful, and I'll be seeing you next time. Bye.